in their eyes. Although they had made considerable progress in recent years, brimming with self-satisfaction and arrogance, they had relied on a distant relative's connections to secure a modest yet lucrative position at the Royal Century Entertainment City in Nanchang, primarily overseeing beverage procurement. This was indeed a golden opportunity, as the financial turnover of the Royal Century Entertainment City was unparalleled in Nanchang, dominating various entertainment venues. Even with just one establishment, the procurement volume for beverages alone was staggering each quarter. Almost every distillery eagerly pursued contracts from the Royal Century Entertainment City, resulting in the Luo brothers receiving numerous favors from these suppliers. Their annual income from discrete transactions exceeded 6 figures, providing them with a comfortable lifestyle. Such earnings allowed them to look down upon their peers, as hardly any young individuals in Qinghe Township could rival their financial success. Consequently, the Luo brothers felt a sense of pride and arrogance, harboring disdain for the people of their hometown. Upon catching a glimpse of Lu Shishir's beauty through their social circle, they naturally began to entertain ulterior motives. However, they were utterly unprepared for the revelation of Jiang Yuan's astonishing bank balance, which rendered them envious and apprehensive. Simultaneously, a thought crossed their minds, recalling a recent rumor circulating within the establishment. The major shareholder of their company was also named Jiang Yuan and was remarkably young. Could it be? The Luo brothers were engulfed in uncertainty. Recently, it had been rumored that the individual in control of the Royal Century Entertainment City was a young man named Jiang Yuan. Initially, they dismissed this notion, believing the distance between themselves and such a figure rendered it irrelevant, just as an ant would evade the tire of a passing vehicle. They considered themselves to be of an entirely different echelon. They had assumed that this Jiang Yuan was merely a name sharer, as countless individuals bore the same name. One could throw a brick from a bridge and perhaps hit 3 or 5 others named Jiang Yuan. Same name, yet different fates. One a formidable and influential figure, the other merely a courier struggling to make ends meet. Yet, upon witnessing Jiang Yuan's exorbitant account balance, a sense of unease washed over them. Could it truly be him? While it might not necessarily be him, it was evident that Jiang Yuan was not an ordinary individual. Perhaps it would be prudent to avoid attracting trouble over a mere woman. Yes, to offend a formidable figure for the sake of a woman hardly seemed worthwhile. Perhaps it would be wiser to abandon Lu Shishir altogether, or even assist Jiang Yuan in courting her, thereby ingratiating themselves with this powerful individual. What a splendid idea. Let us proceed with that plan. May Jiang Yuan, the magnate, take us under his wing. With their resolve solidified, the Luo brothers' gaze towards Jiang Yuan transformed immediately. Filled with a sense of awe and flattery, alongside an indistinct fear, Jiang Yuan calmly remarked, "We still need to eat, so you may leave first. No need to see us off." Upon hearing this, the Luo brothers hastily took their leave, saying, "Then we shall take our leave. Enjoy your meal." After the Luo brothers departed, Lu Mingming could not contain her curiosity and inquired, "What did you show them?" Jiang Yuan simply replied, "Oh, just an edited image of a bank balance, featuring a fictitious account balance of nearly 10 billion. I was surprised they believed it. An edited image? Lu Mingming questioned with skepticism. Though the brothers appeared somewhat dim-witted and easily deceived, could it truly be that simple to mislead them? Perhaps there were many critical factors she remained unaware of. Jiang Yuan seemed increasingly enigmatic in her eyes. As she pondered, Jiang Yuan's voice suddenly broke her reverie. "Open your mouth, it's time to eat." Lu Mingming blushed and obediently opened her mouth, accepting the food he offered. The meal caused her heart to race several beats faster, nearly reddening her face as if it were ripe. After finishing their meal, they returned to the hospital room to rest, while the Luo brothers lingered shamelessly inside. "We are merely old classmates of Lu Shishir and wish for a simple meeting. Nothing more," they stated. "Indeed, we just want to see an old friend," they echoed. Jiang Yuan cast a fleeting glance their way, indifferent, as they were merely 2 inconsequential individuals, and he allowed them their moment. In truth, the Luo brothers were scheming, hoping to find an opportunity to unite Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir, thereby securing their own advancement through Jiang Yuan's influence. Soon, evening arrived, and a young woman appeared, adorned in a fiery red off-shoulder top paired with a light green skirt. Her nearly flawless figure was enough to drive any man into a frenzy. Just from her silhouette, one could ascertain that she was a breathtaking beauty. Regrettably, a black mask concealed most of her face, revealing only her enchanting eyes. Her long, straight black hair added to her allure, igniting a stir in the hearts of those who beheld her. The Luo brothers were left dumbfounded. "Wow, is this a fairy? She's even more beautiful than in the pictures. Incredible." Lu Mengmeng, upon seeing her long-lost cousin, was overwhelmed with emotion and her eyes glistened with tears. "Sister," she exclaimed, throwing herself into Lu Shirshi's embrace and weeping profusely for nearly 10 minutes. Finally recollecting herself, she turned to Lu Shirshi and said, "Sister, I owe it all to Jiang Yuan. It was his assistance that kept me safe." Lu Shirshi then turned to Jiang Yuan, expressing her gratitude with polite formality, yet maintaining a slight distance as she said, "Thank you." Jiang Yuan nodded politely, his gaze imbued with clarity. Subsequently, several individuals, being old acquaintances, engaged in a conversation about other mutual friends. Lu Shirshi casually mentioned, "I heard that Zhao Tianming graduated from Stanford University and has been doing well since returning to the country." The Luo brothers immediately expressed their discontent, chiming in from the side. "That Zhao Tianming is merely a bookworm. If one is unattractive, one must read more. No wonder everyone says that at a glance. Brother Yuan hardly appears to be cut out for academia. Indeed, back in her hometown, it is often said that if a woman finds Brother Yuan unappealing, she might as well donate her eyes to someone in need." Jiang Yuan. Chapter 86. The depths are too profound for you to grasp. Listening to the supportive banter of the two brothers, Jiang Yuan found himself in a state of amusement. Their current demeanor was a stark contrast to their initial hostility, a complete 180-degree shift. He feared that even if he merely passed gas, they would proclaim it as divine inspiration descending from the heavens. Lu Shirshi, too, was taken aback, casting a glance at the Luo brothers. In her recollection, these brothers were notorious for their bullying of the weak and their rebellious spirit. Not only were they ill-tempered, but their personalities left much to be desired. The fact that Jiang Yuan, now merely a courier, could so thoroughly impress them was astonishing. It seemed that Jiang Yuan possessed an extraordinary charm, capable of winning over even these two. Seizing the moment, Lu Mengmeng suggested, "Sister, since we are all here, why not visit Blue Tear Lake tomorrow? It's been over a decade since we last went, and the ancestral worship ceremony doesn't commence for a few more days." Blue Tear Lake, renowned in Qinghe Township, was a picturesque sight. Each summer's end, when temperatures hovered around 25 degrees Celsius, numerous pale, blue, bioluminescent algae would emerge in the lake, cloaking it in a dreamy, ethereal light. From a distance, it resembled a droplet of deep blue tear, captivatingly beautiful. Such a romantic setting had become a favored rendezvous for many couples. Lu Mengmeng aimed to harness this enchanting atmosphere to facilitate a budding romance between her cousin and Jiang Yuan. Upon hearing this proposal, the Luo brothers' eyes sparkled with excitement. Particularly at the mention of Blue Tear Lake, they eagerly thumped their chests, asserting, "This place is under our uncle's jurisdiction. If we go, we guarantee your satisfaction." Jiang Yuan had no objections. After all, his return to the countryside was not solely for his mother, but also for a much-needed respite and exploration. With such a breathtaking destination on the horizon, he saw no reason to decline. Lu Shirshi nodded in agreement, intrigued by the prospect of revisiting Blue Tear Lake after so many years. Thus, a tentative plan for an outing was established. Aside from Jiang Yuan, each individual harbored their own intentions. Jiang Yuan's thoughts were straightforward. He simply wished to admire the scenery and enjoy himself. Lu Mengmeng sought to create opportunities for her cousin and Jiang Yuan to be alone, as a gesture of gratitude for Jiang Yuan's kindness and in hopes of her cousin's happiness. The Luo brothers, on the other hand, aimed to ingratiate themselves with Jiang Yuan, hoping to impress him and perhaps achieve some notable feats to earn his respect. After all, their uncle was the actual authority over Blue Tear Lake, presenting them with an excellent opportunity to curry favor with Jiang Yuan. Lu Shirshi, meanwhile, found herself harboring vague, unarticulated feelings toward Jiang Yuan. The following morning, the Luo brothers promptly contacted their uncle to arrange a last-minute visit to Blue Tear Lake. However, the response they received left them utterly astonished. "No, absolutely not. You two youngsters are entirely clueless. You have no idea about Lu Shirshi's true identity. She has already caught the attention of a significant figure. Listen to your uncle's advice. The waters here are exceedingly deep, and you are ill-equipped to navigate them. It would be wise to steer clear of this murky situation and distance yourselves from these individuals." The Luo brothers exchanged glances, feeling somewhat at a loss. Uncle Luo was indeed a person of considerable influence. Not only had he aided them immensely in the past, but he had also facilitated their employment at the Royal Century Entertainment City in the south, securing them a lucrative position. If all went well, the brothers could comfortably spend the remainder of their lives under Uncle Luo's protection. This enigmatic figure was rumored to possess vast connections and a formidable background. If even someone of his stature warned that the waters were perilous, then the situation might truly be fraught with danger. Yet the Luo brothers remained undeterred and added, "But we have an old classmate named Jiang Yuan who also wishes to join us." On the other end of the line, a middle-aged man sporting a cigar and a distinctive mustache, initially reclining with his legs crossed, spoke nonchalantly to his two younger companions, cautioning them to avoid trouble. Although Lu Shishir was strikingly beautiful and had experienced considerable fortune, she was already claimed by a powerful individual, one far beyond their reach. To dare to interfere would be tantamount to courting death. However, upon hearing the name Jiang Yuan, he suddenly trembled and sprang to his feet. "Which Jiang Yuan?" Uncle Luo inquired, suddenly tense. "Better safe than sorry. What if it truly is that Jiang Yuan?" The Luo brothers lamented. "We aren't certain if it is the same Jiang Yuan. We cannot recognize such a prominent figure. All we know is that he is indeed quite young and wealthy. Do you have a photo? Send it to me at once." The Luo brothers discreetly snapped a side profile of Jiang Yuan and sent it to their uncle. Approximately 30 seconds later, a stunning profile appeared on Uncle Luo's phone, and his eyes widened in disbelief. "Holy cow, it really is Jiang Yuan," he exclaimed in shock. He shared a close bond with the director at the Royal Century Entertainment City, and any news would typically be shared between them. Naturally, he was familiar with this newly appointed power player. Yet, how could such a colossal figure suddenly arrive in their small locale? Was it possible that Jiang Yuan had come for a visit? If he inadvertently spoiled the interest of such a prominent individual, it would spell disaster for him. With that thought, Uncle Luo felt his heart race. "Prepare a car at once. I must personally welcome this esteemed personage." The Luo brothers were filled with unease. After sending the photograph, their uncle had not responded. What could the situation be? However, to their astonishment, more than 10 minutes later, their Uncle Luo arrived in a Rolls-Royce to personally greet them. Yet, the imposing figure of their uncle was replaced by an unexpectedly humble demeanor. Uncle Luo glanced around, not seeing anyone, and inquired, "Where is Jiang Yuan? Has he arrived?" The brothers, witnessing their uncle's demeanor, suddenly became acutely aware of a profound truth. Jiang Yuan was indeed a person of great significance. Chapter 87. "Let Uncle handle it. He has just gone out for breakfast and will return shortly." The voices of the Luo brothers trembled. Is this Jiang Yuan truly that esteemed figure? There could be no doubt. Uncle Luo affirmed with certainty. This individual is a prominent figure in Nanxing. If we inadvertently provoke him, it would spell disaster for us. Upon hearing this, the Luo brothers immediately lowered their heads in guilt. Their initial intention for coming here was to enlist Jiang Yuan's cooperation in their scheme, aiming to seize credit for his accomplishments. They had even displayed arrogance before Jiang Yuan, boasting that he could name his price. Such an attitude was utterly deplorable. Would the esteemed Jiang Yuan hold a grudge against us? Surely not. But what if he does harbor resentment? Leaving behind a negative impression could lead to dire consequences. Noticing the palpable anxiety of these two inept individuals, Uncle Luo's expression shifted dramatically. "Have you two already offended the esteemed Jiang Yuan?" His voice quivered with anger. "These two ineffectual nuisances. After I painstakingly helped them secure a lucrative position at the Royal Century Entertainment City in Nanxing, have now caused such a predicament. If Jiang Yuan were to be displeased, he could easily ensure that the Luo family faced dire repercussions." "We haven't gone too far," the Luo brothers murmured, swallowing hard. They then recounted everything to their uncle, confessing their plan to orchestrate a connection between Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir in hopes of winning Jiang Yuan's favor. Upon hearing their account, Uncle Luo's demeanor softened slightly. At least it wasn't beyond redemption. But he stated firmly, "If you cannot handle this matter, let Uncle take charge." The Luo brothers exchanged glances and spoke in unison. "Uncle, are you eager to showcase your merits before the esteemed Jiang Yuan?" Uncle Luo, incensed, retorted, "Is it not your folly that has led us here? If we do not cater to Jiang Yuan's comfort, how can we expect to enjoy a good life?" The Luo brothers, with stubborn determination, replied, "We can also contribute ideas from the sidelines. The credit cannot all go to you." Uncle Luo, exasperated, thought these two simpletons, at such a critical juncture, are still not lacking in wit. They know how to seize an opportunity. "What do you plan to do?" Uncle Luo inquired, pinching the bridge of his nose. He did not truly expect these two to be of any real assistance. He merely asked out of curiosity. The Luo brothers confidently stated, "We devised a plan after much discussion last night. We shall hire a few ruffians to harass Lu Shishir, prompting Jiang Yuan to come to her rescue. This will surely guarantee that Jiang Yuan wins her heart." Uncle Luo immediately shook his head, letting out a sigh. The old trope of a hero saving a damsel in distress is utterly kitsch. I am astounded you would conceive such a notion. It's contrived, artificial, and utterly devoid of originality. A pathetic scheme. This was Uncle Luo's only commentary on the plans devised by the two brothers. Such a pitiful strategy, akin to a band of lowly ruffians flailing their fists without purpose, was not only devoid of structure, but also ostentatious, yielding little effect. Such a stale idea could only originate from these two. It was unexpected that our modest Luo family had birthed both a dragon and a phoenix simultaneously. Truly, it was a case of foolishness. Clearing his throat, Uncle Luo promptly articulated his perspective. Listen well, both of you. The most deeply held belief among women is that of fate. What is fate? It is a serendipitous encounter ordained by the heavens, imbued with a sense of romance. No woman can resist the allure of a destined Prince Charming. The Luo brothers, bewildered, pondered how one might control such an ethereal concept as fate. Uncle Luo, with a dismissive expression, recounted an incident. 2 years prior, in Xiamen, there was a couple deeply in love, living a life of bliss. However, due to a job relocation, the young man's girlfriend proposed a separation, necessitated by her 2-year stint abroad. The young man said little in response, merely nodding. Yet, on the day of her departure, she encountered an unexpected traffic jam en route to the airport, a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. At that moment, miraculously, the young man appeared, offering to drive her to the airport. The girlfriend was profoundly moved by his timely arrival and immediately regarded him as her fated partner. Ultimately, she resigned from her job and chose to live happily with him. However, upon hearing this tale, the Luo brothers remained perplexed. What does this story have to do with our plans? Uncle Luo chuckled. It has everything to do with it. For the traffic jam that day was orchestrated by the young man, who had lavishly hired a group to stage a race, only to make his miraculous appearance thereafter. What is this? This is the power of wealth. Fate is a belief that exists if one chooses to believe. The key lies in how to instill that belief. And therein lies the advantage of monetary power. The Luo brothers, captivated by his eloquence, felt a newfound admiration. If we were to emulate such a scheme, wouldn't it be unethical? Uncle Luo, exasperated, retorted, "You two truly possess the minds of swine. We lack morality to begin with. Who could possibly impose it upon us?" The Luo brothers suddenly grasped the logic behind his words. Thus, the three commenced brainstorming their plan. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan, Lu Shishir, and Lu Mengmeng enjoyed a simple breakfast before wandering through the quaint town. However, the trio was undeniably captivating, drawing the attention of passers-by who found it difficult to divert their gaze. Lu Mengmeng, embodying the sweet and endearing neighborly girl, resembled a gentle, lovable rabbit trailing behind Jiang Yuan. Despite Lu Shishir concealing much of her visage beneath a black mask, she too attracted curiosity. However, it was her breathtaking figure and a pair of enchanting eyes that left many men feeling parched with desire. As for Jiang Yuan, his stunning appearance was akin to a golden beetle in a field, the brightest star in the night sky, drawing attention wherever he went. Undoubtedly, Jiang Yuan was the most striking individual on the street. The trio, due to their captivating presence, inevitably stirred a commotion. "Is that you, Jiang Yuan?" approached a woman, approximately 21 years old, tall, clad in revealing attire, and adorned with heavy makeup. Jiang Yuan glanced at her, momentarily at a loss for recognition. "I am your elementary school classmate, Su Ru." Chapter 88. A slight revenge. Jiang Yuan pondered for a moment before suddenly recalling. There had indeed been a woman who had pursued him for 5 years. However, he had rejected her at that time, due to his youth. The woman's name seemed to be Su Ru. Yet, the woman before him had evidently undergone a significant transformation. With heavy makeup and revealing clothing, she was a stark contrast to the more reserved Su Ru he remembered. It appeared that not only her appearance had changed with age, but her mindset had also evolved considerably. Upon encountering Jiang Yuan, Su Ru was almost overwhelmed with joy. Her dreamlike idol had reappeared in her life. In an instant, her imagination ran wild, envisioning their acquaintance, their romance, marriage, children, and even growing old together. Enveloped in immense happiness, she blurted out, "Jiang Yuan, let us be buried together." Jiang Yuan. Realizing her lapse in composure, Su Ru's face flushed as she quickly shook her head. "No. I meant, it has been a long time since we last saw each other. How have you been?" "Just working as a courier," Jiang Yuan replied succinctly. A courier? Hearing that her idol was now a courier, Su Ru could not help but feel a twinge of delight. Did this not signify an opportunity for her? A courier probably earned around $3,000 a month, suggesting a modest lifestyle. Surely, he could be easily swayed by wealth. If she seized the moment, perhaps she could win him over effortlessly. Su Ru's mind raced with calculations. However, upon catching sight of Lu Mengmeng and Lu Shishir beside Jiang Yuan, a sense of unease washed over her. Although Jiang Yuan was a courier, he remained quite handsome. Surely he wasn't single now, and with two companions? What a scoundrel. Su Ru cast a suspicious glance at Jiang Yuan, her expression gradually darkening with malice. Love and hate often intertwine in an instant. It is not uncommon for love to breed resentment. Moreover, Jiang Yuan had rejected her for a full 5 years. 5 years. Did he even comprehend the pain she had endured? Suddenly, a small notion of revenge flickered in her mind. Jiang Yuan, you are here for leisure, I presume? Su Ru inquired with a smile. Yes. We wish to visit Blue Tears Lake, Jiang Yuan nodded. How fortuitous. I am currently the head of the Blue Tears Lake scenic area. Allow me to personally guide you. With great enthusiasm, she took hold of Jiang Yuan and his companions, exuding hospitality. Upon hearing her claim of being the head of the scenic area, Jiang Yuan and his friends naturally accepted her as their guide. However, Su Ru's ulterior motives soon became apparent. Leading them to the parking lot, she pointed to a luxurious Mercedes SUV, saying, "Let us converse in the car. This vehicle was a gift from my esteemed boss." Lu Mengmeng instantly recognized the car, exclaiming in astonishment, "This model of Mercedes-Benz costs at least 700,000 to 800,000. Your boss is truly extravagant." Suereu fei ned modesty, chuckling softly. It's merely that our esteemed boss is rather generous. This sum is negligible for him. Lu Mengmeng expressed her surprise, remarking, "Your boss is indeed wealthy." Su Ru, pretending to be bashful, smiled and added, "Our boss possesses significant connections. The vehicles he drives are Rolls-Royces worth tens of millions, and he has developed several local attractions, amassing considerable wealth." She further insinuated, "Moreover, it seems that my boss harbors a particular fondness for me, often presenting me with gifts." She was subtly hinting at being pursued by a man of exceptional caliber, and one who was immensely affluent. How ostentatious, so brazenly showy. Su Ru had never imagined she would one day flaunt in front of her idol. In that moment, she felt an overwhelming sense of pride. The humiliation of having pursued Jiang Yuan for 5 years was momentarily alleviated. Su Ru reveled in her secret delight. Yet, when she covertly glanced at Jiang Yuan's face, she found it as inscrutable as a still pond. Jiang Yuan exhibited no discernible reaction. The display of ostentation had utterly failed. Su Ru felt as though she had struck a soft cushion with her fist, her spirits dampened. Logically, wouldn't a boy of his age be somewhat competitive? Upon hearing about such a wealthy benefactor, wouldn't Jiang Yuan feel even the slightest twinge of inferiority? Suereu felt indignant. Jiang Yuan must be putting on a brave front, undoubtedly. She then produced a Vacheron Constantine watch, saying, "This was a special gift from our boss for my birthday last year. I'm not sure how much it cost." Lu Mengmeng's eyes widened in disbelief. "This is a Vacheron Constantine. It must be worth several 100,000. Your boss is truly extravagant." Suereu secretly laughed, pleased that this young girl was reacting as she had hoped. However, Jiang Yuan remained unperturbed, gazing out at the familiar scenery, lost in thought. Su Ru felt a pang of disappointment. All her efforts seemed to have fallen flat. Just as she contemplated her next move, her phone rang. Upon answering, she realized it was her boss calling. "Xiao Ru, today we are to host a distinguished VIP named Jiang Yuan. Be attentive and clever. We must meet all his demands. Furthermore, you must ensure he is utterly comfortable. If he experiences even the slightest discomfort, you'll be dismissed immediately. Distinguished VIP, Jiang Yuan." Upon hearing her boss's words, her body stiffened involuntarily. Had she misheard? The tremor in her boss's voice when mentioning Jiang Yuan was unmistakable. In her years of service, she had never encountered such a tone. Could this Jiang Yuan mentioned on the phone be the very same person in the car? Perhaps they share the same name. Su Ru pondered, as the person in her car was merely a courier. Yet, a lingering sense of unease resided in her heart. She couldn't shake the feeling that everything seemed too coincidental. The very courier in her vehicle, Jiang Yuan, was scheduled to visit the Blue Tears Lake today, coinciding with the arrival of a distinguished VIP named Jiang Yuan, as mentioned by her superior. The more Su Ru contemplated, the more unsettling it became, prompting her to voice her concerns. "Jiang Yuan, are you truly just a courier?" she inquired. "Indeed, I am a courier," Jiang Yuan replied. He was not lying. He had not formally resigned from his courier position and held that identity. However, he did not disclose that he possessed other identities, which could hardly be deemed deceitful. Upon hearing his response, Su Ru felt a wave of relief wash over her. She drove onward, taking Jiang Yuan and another companion towards the enchanting Blue Tears Lake. Chapter 89. A day out. Why hasn't Jiang Yuan returned yet? The Luo brothers waited anxiously, their hearts heavy with unease. Uncle Luo, too, wore a furrowed brow as he awaited news. Fortunately, a call from Lu Mingming soon clarified the situation. Jiang Yuan had gone directly to the Blue Tear Lake. Upon hearing this, Uncle Luo's demeanor shifted to one of seriousness as he commanded, "Let us commence the plan ahead of schedule. Inform all personnel to take their positions immediately." It turned out that Uncle Luo and the Luo brothers had devised a scheme to ensure Jiang Yuan would shine. Eager to facilitate a connection between Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir, Uncle Luo had put significant effort into this endeavor. There exists a psychological phenomenon known as the bridge effect, which posits that when an individual traverses a perilous bridge, their heart rate naturally quickens. Should a member of the opposite sex cross their path at that moment, they may misinterpret their accelerated heartbeat as a sign of romantic attraction. Uncle Luo intended to create a perilous environment, allowing Lu Shishir and Jiang Yuan to find themselves alone together. Following that, it would be a matter of letting Jiang Yuan act as he pleased. Uncle Luo and the Luo brothers exchanged knowing glances, bursting into laughter in unison. If they could assist Jiang Yuan in this matter, it would be a significant accomplishment. Gaining Jiang Yuan's favor would undoubtedly lead to abundant wealth and success in the near future. With spirits high, Uncle Luo and the Luo brothers set about their preparations. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan and his companions had already arrived at the Blue Tear Lake. Su Ru felt an inexplicable sense of unease. She perceived Jiang Yuan's demeanor as unsettlingly calm, almost godlike. When she flaunted her wealth before him, any ordinary person would have at least feigned a semblance of composure, yet Jiang Yuan's gaze remained detached, as if he looked down upon all material possessions from a lofty perch. Su Ru had only glimpsed such a demeanor in the eyes of a few top-tier magnates. It seemed impossible for anyone to feign such an expression. Could it be that Jiang Yuan had some hidden backing? Su Ru pondered with uncertainty. Just as Su Ru led Jiang Yuan and his companions into the Blue Tear Lake, she was abruptly called away, personally summoned by the park's officials. Soon after, she found herself in the presence of her boss, Uncle Luo, who appeared anxious and helpless, solemnly revealing the truth regarding Jiang Yuan. What she heard next was nearly beyond her comprehension. "Are you out of your mind? To walk alongside Jiang Yuan? He is a figure of immense stature in Nanxing, the owner of the Fiskalton restaurant, the power behind the Royal Century Entertainment City, and it is rumored that he has significant ties to a well-known gaming company, not to mention his close associations with the daughters of the Yi and Su families." The revelation struck like thunder. Suddenly, it felt as though a thunderclap resounded in Su Ru's ears. The enormity of the information overwhelmed her, making it difficult to accept. However, as she recalled her earlier display of wealth before Jiang Yuan, her proud demeanor now seemed ridiculously audacious. A cold sweat broke out on her back as she felt a wave of fear wash over her. This was disastrous. The two Jiang Yuans were, in fact, one and the same. Moreover, she had been exceedingly impolite, flaunting her riches before someone of his caliber. Who would have imagined that after years apart, Jiang Yuan had transformed into a formidable figure? The true fool was, indeed, herself. Panic seized Su Ru, causing her body to tremble involuntarily. What should I do?" she asked, her voice quaking. "You will cooperate with our actions moving forward," Uncle Luo replied with utmost seriousness. Su Ru nodded, her anxiety palpable. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan was enjoying a leisurely day at Blue Tears Lake, surrounded by breathtaking scenery. Although the famed blue tears would not appear until dusk, the air was refreshingly pleasant. Escaping the clamor of the bustling city for a brief respite here was a delightful experience. Furthermore, this was a cherished spot from their childhood, a place where Jiang Yuan and his friends often played, imbued with nostalgia. Observing Jiang Yuan and her cousin, Lu Muming's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Sister, do you remember the tale of the dragon and the sand associated with Blue Tears Lake?" she inquired. According to legend, the dragon lived alone in the boundless lake and never shed a tear. Yet, the dragon was profoundly lonely, longing for companionship. It was only upon encountering the distant winds and sands that it learned to weep and understood the sensation of tears. Nevertheless, the dragon did not resent the winds and sands. It welcomed their company, willingly shedding tears in their presence. Lu Mingming recounted a brief version of the legend. feeling a sense of pride in sharing such a romantic tale, hoping it would evoke some feelings in the two of them. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yuan burst into laughter. What a third-rate romantic story. Back in childhood, I could have listened to street vendors spin 100 such tales while buying newspapers for my parents, he chuckled. Lu Mingming was taken aback, thinking, what a typical man. A true steel-hearted straight man. She silently criticized Jiang Yuan's bluntness. However, Lu Shishir, amused by Jiang Yuan's remark, erupted into laughter. Her striking beauty naturally attracted many suitors, but after hearing countless insipid romantic platitudes from insincere men, she found such words distasteful, hypocritical, and exaggerated. Instead, she found Jiang Yuan's straightforwardness quite intriguing. Upon hearing her cousin's laughter, Lu Mingming was momentarily stunned. Then, she looked at Jiang Yuan with newfound admiration. It dawned on her that Jiang Yuan had astutely discerned Lu Shishir's sentiments, fully understanding her preferences. This display of straightforwardness was likely a deliberate facade he had crafted. Jiang Yuan's depth of strategy was indeed formidable, leaving her in awe. As Lu Mingming indulged in her imagination, she mistakenly regarded Jiang Yuan as a master of romantic pursuits. In truth, Jiang Yuan was not preoccupied with such thoughts. Having returned to his hometown after a long absence, he was naturally in a state of profound relaxation upon witnessing the familiar landscapes of his youth. He expressed whatever came to his mind without much deliberation. Unbeknownst to him, this unguarded candor inadvertently endeared him to Lu Shishir, while Lu Mingming crafted a narrative of him as a young man with intricate strategies. In reality, Jiang Yuan possessed some charm and techniques, though he rarely employed them. His striking looks alone rendered him almost invincible, leaving little room for the application of such strategies. During their excursion, however, a minor incident unfolded nearby. Chapter 90. Immediate acquisition. A young girl has gone missing, and perplexingly, it occurred while she was in the company of her family during a visit. How could a living person simply vanish? Has there been a thorough investigation? It is said she mysteriously disappeared merely after visiting the restroom. How terrifying. Could it be that she was abducted by some nefarious individuals? We must exercise caution. Despite the relatively safe environment here, such incidents can still occur. These matters are unpredictable, so it is prudent to remain vigilant. In light of such a bizarre situation, Lu Mingming couldn't help but anxiously grasp Jiang Yuan's hand. Brother Jiang Yuan, this place seems quite dangerous. I am so frightened. Her heart raced uncontrollably, seeking solace in Jiang Yuan's gaze. The atmosphere of panic, of course, was the objective of the Luo family trio. Their plan was for Jiang Yuan to assume the role of a savior. By instigating perilous situations and allowing Jiang Yuan to showcase his bravery, they aimed to create a bridge effect, convincing Lu Shishir that Jiang Yuan was her destined protector. However, the outcome appeared to be less than successful. Lu Shishir remained composed and clear-headed, showing no signs of being perturbed, displaying an exceptionally strong psychological fortitude, unlike the delicate demeanor of a typical girl. In contrast, her cousin Lu Mingming clung to Jiang Yuan, visibly trembling and wearing a fearful expression, her lips pursed in trepidation. She resembled a drowning person, with Jiang Yuan as her sole lifeline, desperately clinging to him. Jiang Yuan, in turn, gently patted her back, offering quiet reassurance. The three members of the Luo family observed the scene with clenched teeth, feeling a sense of frustration. Plan A had failed. They needed to divert the young girl. It was time to execute Plan B. As the saying goes, plans often do not withstand the test of change. In fact, they had prepared multiple contingencies. At that moment, Su Ru returned to Jiang Yuan's side, intending to take Lu Mingming away to discuss something with her. However, Jiang Yuan immediately held her back. Can you take me to meet the big boss you mentioned earlier? Jiang Yuan stated directly. Su Ru was momentarily taken aback, feeling flustered, and instinctively entered a mode of speculation. Could it be that Jiang Yuan, so astute, had seen through everything? Had he grasped the subtle hints she had let slip, uncovering the entire scheme? His intelligence was indeed formidable. Caught in a dilemma, Su Ru felt trapped between obeying Jiang Yuan's command and adhering to her boss's orders. In that instant, she found herself ensnared in a quagmire of indecision. Yet upon glancing at Jiang Yuan's profile and reflecting on the various accounts of his deeds, she resolved firmly. With her boss on one side and Jiang Yuan on the other, the choice was clear. Jiang Yuan was undoubtedly the more significant priority. Thus, Su Ru immediately acquiesced to Jiang Yuan's request and led him to meet her superior, while the Lu sisters were temporarily left behind. Soon, under Su Ru's guidance, Jiang Yuan arrived at an office where he encountered Uncle Luo, a member of the Luo family. Upon seeing Jiang Yuan, Uncle Luo respectfully presented him with a cup of red tea. This is the specially supplied Da Hong Pao from Min City. Please enjoy. Jiang Yuan was slightly taken aback. He did not recognize this individual, and it appeared that he had considerable assets locally, leaving Jiang Yuan perplexed as to why he was being treated with such deference. Nevertheless, Jiang Yuan graciously accepted and drank the entire cup of Da Hong Pao. This tea was once reserved for royalty, possessing an exceptionally smooth texture and a uniquely fragrant aroma. The flavor was indeed delightful. Uncle Luo smiled and raised his cup in return. However, after finishing his tea, Jiang Yuan soon uttered a statement that would leave Uncle Luo nearly choking on his drink. "I wish to acquire your scenic area," Jiang Yuan stated calmly. Hearing this, Uncle Luo nearly leaped from his chair in shock. What? Why do you want to acquire our place?" Jiang Yuan replied, "I have a keen interest in the events occurring here. So what do you say? Are you willing to sell?" In truth, Jiang Yuan was genuinely fascinated by events shrouded in mystery, particularly intrigued by the Blue Tears Lake. Uncle Luo felt a cold sweat trickle down his forehead upon hearing Jiang Yuan's words. "This is not easy to sell. How much are you willing to offer?" Jiang Yuan said little in response, pulling out his phone to access his electronic account. He casually displayed a staggering balance of over 10 billion. Uncle Luo swallowed hard. Faced with such an astronomical figure, he found it challenging to utter words of refusal. However, the scenic area was akin to a cash cow, and he had no intention of selling it to Jiang Yuan. Initially, he had only hired a few individuals to create a tense atmosphere, intending to use this to facilitate his subsequent plans, ultimately allowing Jiang Yuan to win the heart of a beautiful woman, thereby enabling him to take credit and secure a connection with Jiang Yuan. Yet, to his astonishment, Jiang Yuan misconstrued the situation, genuinely believing something significant was happening and seeking to acquire the property outright. This left Uncle Luo utterly unprepared. Who would be so audacious? When a place encounters trouble, one would typically seek to resolve the issue, not simply opt to purchase it at an exorbitant price and take control. Is this a human being or a deity? Uncle Luo was on the verge of tears. Although he was aware of Jiang Yuan's wealth, he never imagined it to be so vast. This was beyond mere extravagance. It was akin to burning money. A serious individual who would embark on an acquisition of an industry seldom proceeds without meticulous caution or a well-articulated business plan, who would invest exorbitant sums without due diligence. It is utterly perplexing that one could so cavalierly propose an acquisition without a thorough consideration of potential losses and gains. This Jiang Yuan truly deviates from conventional norms, launching an unexpected assault that leaves others utterly unprepared. Such audacity appears devoid of humanity. The world of the affluent is indeed terrifying. Might we request a moment to contemplate this matter? Uncle Luo's expression had morphed into one of sheer despair. "Well, take your time to deliberate. I shall return later," Jiang Yuan remarked. Once Jiang Yuan departed, Uncle Luo seemed to exert every ounce of his strength, gasping for breath as his face bore the unmistakable marks of helplessness. Jiang Yuan's approach to matters was simply beyond his anticipation. Chapter 91. Lu Mingming's trouble. Upon Jiang Yuan's return, he fortuitously overheard some news. The matter had been thoroughly investigated. It was merely a misunderstanding, and the missing girl had been found. Lu Mingming gently patted her small chest, exhibiting a demeanor of relief. Jiang Yuan couldn't help but feel the coincidence of it all. He had just returned, and the situation was already resolved. However, he dismissed the thought, recognizing that coincidences abound in this world. He then continued to stroll alongside the Lu sisters, exploring the various scenic spots by the lakeside. Lu Mingming pointed excitedly at a distant view, exclaiming, "Let us hasten to see how that ancient plum tree is faring now. We loved to play there in our childhood." The soil by Blue Tears Lake is remarkably fertile and steeped in history. Ouyang Xiu had personally planted a plum tree here, which has stood for a millennium, revered as a treasure of the town. This ancient tree is invaluable, possessing immense collectible worth. Even in the vastness of the Dragon Kingdom, ancient trees of a millennium are exceedingly rare, with only a scant few dozen remaining. Among these, merely 4 ancient plum trees persist, making them exceptionally precious. This tree is one of them. Mentioning this ancient tree sparked a vivid recollection in Jiang Yuan's mind. Each summer's end, Blue Tears Lake, under the influence of Noctiluca, transforms into a wondrous spectacle. Beneath the pitch-black sky, a surreal azure glow illuminates the scene, casting a grand and solemn aura around the ancient tree. The tree stands approximately 8 meters tall, with a canopy spanning 50 square meters. It provides shade and exudes a faintly bittersweet fragrance reminiscent of apricots and plums, refreshing those who inhale its scent. "Let us go," Lu Shirshir said, her interest piqued. She too wished to behold the millennium-old plum tree once more. Jiang Yuan nodded, just as he was about to move, when he noticed a couple had appeared behind Lu Shirshir. A somewhat handsome young man with round-frame glasses was accompanied by a girl of moderate beauty. Jiang Yuan found the young man somewhat familiar, though he couldn't quite place him. Meanwhile, Lu Mingming urged, "Jiang Yuan Gij, let us hurry. We must go see the plum tree." Reluctantly, Jiang Yuan led them away. However, upon Jiang Yuan's departure, the young man with the glasses ceased to conceal his disdain, his eyes glinting with a mix of anger and resentment. "Jiang Yuan, it's you, isn't it? I pursued Su Ru for 5 long years, yet she paid me no mind, her thoughts solely on you. What a small world to run into you now. Ah, but it makes sense. The ancestral worship ceremony is about to commence, and we outsiders have all returned, yet I never imagined I would encounter you here." This somewhat handsome young man was named Zhou Chun, a classmate of Jiang Yuan and Su Ru. Yet, his presence had always been rather inconspicuous, to the point that Jiang Yuan had completely forgotten his name. During their school days, he had ardently pursued Su Ru for 5 years, playing the role of her devoted admirer through storm and sunshine. Regrettably, despite his decent looks, Jiang Yuan was the true paragon of beauty. In those years, Su Ru did not hesitate to reject him outright, declaring that her heart belonged solely to Jiang Yuan. Upon his return, Zhou Chun deliberately visited the Blue Tears Lake. Having heard that Su Ru was working there, his intention was to seek her out, bringing along his new girlfriend to subtly display his current prowess, hoping to evoke profound regret in Su Ru for her past rejection. However, to his surprise, before he could encounter Su Ru, he instead came across Jiang Yuan, whom he regarded as the epitome of malevolence. Had it not been for Jiang Yuan, the so-called handsome emperor, Su Ru would have been easily won over. Without Jiang Yuan's presence, he pondered why he had endured years of unrequited devotion. The impudent fellow, since fate had brought them together once more. Zhou Chun secretly chuckled to himself, plotting to catch Jiang Yuan off guard. At that moment, Jiang Yuan had already arrived near the plum tree with the Lu sisters. The area, being a popular tourist attraction, was bustling with crowds. It had been many years since he last visited, yet the plum tree remained unchanged. "So many people. Let us squeeze in and take a look," exclaimed Lu Mingming, her excitement palpable. Her forthright and somewhat adorable demeanor compelled her to disregard the throng and draw nearer. Jiang Yuan, somewhat exasperated, found it difficult to voice his discomfort at Lu Mingming's naive enthusiasm. Lu Mingming subtly remarked, "Brother Jiang Yuan, with so many people around, you must hold tightly to my and my cousin's hands." A hint of cunning glimmered in her eyes, as she intentionally sought to create an opportunity for Jiang Yuan to take her cousin's hand amidst the crowded gathering. With the sheer number of people, it provided a valid reason for Jiang Yuan to grasp both their hands, ensuring they wouldn't become separated in the crowd. "How clever I am," Lu Mingming thought, feeling a surge of self-satisfaction. Jiang Yuan found her reasoning quite reasonable and willingly took the hands of both Lu Shirshir and Lu Mingming. As Lu Shirshir's hand was enveloped by Jiang Yuan's, she felt a slight tremor, yet chose to remain silent. Her hand was somewhat cool to the touch, yet remarkably soft, carrying the faint fragrance of orchids. This sensation was rather pleasant, stirring a sense of distraction within Jiang Yuan. Conversely, Lu Mingming's small hands were warm and soft, reminiscent of a delicate white rabbit, evoking an irresistible urge to tease her. "Ah, brother Jiang Yuan is holding my hand," she thought, feeling a rush of shyness. Initially, her intention was to create an opportunity for Jiang Yuan to hold her cousin's hand. Yet now she found herself willingly sacrificing that plan. However, when Jiang Yuan finally took her hand, she was instantly enveloped in a blissful dizziness. Brother Jiang Yuan's hand is so broad, so warm, and so reassuring. Lu Mingming felt an exhilarating sense of happiness, her mind momentarily clouded with joy. The three of them, hand in hand, approached the ancient plum tree that had stood for a millennium. However, misfortune often strikes unexpectedly. Amidst the crowd, a foot suddenly protruded, causing Lu Mingming to stumble. Startled, she cried out and fell forward, inadvertently colliding with a tender branch of the plum tree. With a creak, the branch was damaged, rendering it rather unsightly. "Oh no, disaster struck." Lu Mingming's face turned pale with fright. Chapter 92. Why should Mr. Jiang compensate? Zhou Chun smiled with satisfaction. He affectionately ruffled his girlfriend's hair and tightened his embrace around her shoulders. The foot that had tripped Lu Mengmeng was orchestrated by him. A clever maneuver concealed amidst the bustling crowd, unnoticed by anyone. However, Lu Mengmeng had undeniably collided with a branch of a centuries-old plum tree, a spectacle evident to all. This ancient plum tree was akin to a living historical treasure. Even casual visitors approached it with a reverent distance, fully aware that any inadvertent damage could lead to exorbitant compensation. As Lu Mengmeng was brought by Jiang Yuan, and given that he had been holding her hand at the moment of the incident, it was clear that Jiang Yuan would bear the brunt of the blame. Zhou Chun, reveling in schadenfreude, anticipated the ensuing spectacle of them shifting responsibility. A wave of glee surged within him, nearly prompting a laugh. Such an event often led to individuals deflecting blame, a colloquial term known as passing the buck, which could severely strain relationships. Zhou Chen's mind churned with a sinister delight. His intent was not merely to see Jiang Yuan face a monumental bill, but also to witness the beautiful sisters hurl accusations at one another, embroiled in mutual condemnation. It was a delightfully malicious scheme. Following the incident, as Lu Mengmeng had damaged the plum tree, Jiang Yuan quickly helped her to her feet. "Are you all right?" he inquired with genuine concern. "I'm fine, but the ancient plum tree is ruined." Lu Mengmeng trembled, shaken by the gravity of the situation. This was the pride of the town. How could she have been so careless amidst such a crowd? Regret consumed her, wishing desperately for a chance to rewind time, to erase the nightmare unfolding before her. Yet, the reality of her blunder loomed large. To her surprise, Jiang Yuan merely stroked her head. "It's just a tree. As long as you're okay, that's what matters," he reassured her. "Oh, Jianggu, you are so gentle." Lu Mengmeng's eyes glistened with tears, her heart yearning to collapse into his embrace. Lu Shishir remained composed, gently patting her back. A calamity had struck. A tourist had damaged the plum tree. The plum tree? The one planted by Ouyang Xiu himself? Oh no, they will surely face ruin if compensation is required. Who is so unfortunate? Let's go witness the chaos. It is tragic indeed, encountering such misfortune, especially involving a handsome man and two beautiful women. It is truly unfortunate that such an incident occurred involving two beautiful women. However, that handsome gentleman is indeed striking. Let us hasten to witness the commotion. The staff of the scenic area quickly arrived upon hearing the news. All the onlookers gazed at Jiang Yuan and his companions with a tinge of sympathy. Having damaged such a precious object, one could only wonder how much they would be liable to pay. Certainly a substantial amount, perhaps even consuming the remainder of their lives in debt. Yet, to everyone's astonishment, the two staff members did not express anger, nor did they exhibit any signs of reproach. Instead, a look of mild panic crossed their faces. "Miss, are you all right? Did this tree injure you?" The bystanders were left bewildered by the staff's unexpected demeanor. Shouldn't they have scolded those responsible for damaging such a valuable ancient tree and demanded exorbitant compensation? Instead, they appeared respectful and concerned about the woman's well-being. This was indeed peculiar. Jiang Yuan's girlfriend could not help but interject. "Given the value of this tree, shouldn't we be liable for damages?" Jiang Yuan nodded in agreement, asserting, "Indeed, we have damaged something, and we should compensate for it." However, to their surprise, the two staff members immediately reacted with displeasure, addressing Jiang Yuan's girlfriend loudly. "Compensation? This tree is merely an ordinary tree. The claim that it was planted by Ouyang Xiu is nothing but a gimmick, all false. It is our responsibility that this young lady was harmed by our tree." The surrounding onlookers were taken aback by this revelation. What? Damaging such a precious ancient tree incurs no financial liability? The staff even seemed ready to apologize. What on earth is happening in this world? Sound of astonishment 300. 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 I comprehend now. This young lady likely possesses an extraordinary identity. Even the staff of the scenic area dare not demand compensation from them, indicating their reluctance to confront these three individuals. Truly, they are of significant stature. A proud expression gradually solidified on Zhou Chen's face. He tightened his grip around his girlfriend's arm, eliciting a pained sound from her. The unfolding events had far exceeded his expectations. The tree, it turned out, was a fake. How infuriating! He had exerted considerable effort to ensure Jiang Yuan would stumble, only to find that not only had he failed to achieve financial restitution, but he had also been unable to shift blame onto them. Lu Mengmeng was equally stunned. Having made a mistake, she found herself absolved of any responsibility. Moreover, according to the staff's assertions, it was, in fact, their fault? This matter is indeed rather peculiar. Lu Mingming discreetly cast a glance at Jiang Yuan's profile. Deep down, she sensed that the unusual demeanor of the staff might be somehow connected to her brother Jiang Yuan. Meanwhile, the three members of the Luo family not far away were sweating profusely. Even if they possessed 100 times more courage, they would never dare to demand compensation from Jiang Yuan. The ancient tree, aged a millennium, was undeniably real, and all the rumors surrounding it were true. However, once one was associated with Jiang Yuan, claiming it to be false would hold no weight. Even if Jiang Yuan were to err, it would still be without fault in their eyes. After all, even if he were to throw money at them, they would not have the audacity to accept it. Offending Jiang Yuan would be tantamount to signing their own death warrant. This 1,000-year-old ancient tree, while precious, paled in comparison to Jiang Yuan, rendering it mere refuse. Chapter 93. Who told you this was fake? Zhou Qin's frustration grew with each passing thought. After finally seizing an opportunity to discreetly orchestrate an accident to harm Jiang Yuan, he found himself thwarted by the revelation that the tree was a mere fade. Such chances were rare, and once missed, they could not be reclaimed. The prospect of ensnaring Jiang Yuan again, particularly through underhanded means, seemed bleak. What a wretched tree, to be nothing but an illusion. Enraged, Zhou Qin approached the plum tree and kicked it with force, seeking to vent his pent-up indignation and resentment. The aged tree, already suffering from deterioration and pestilence, bore the brunt of his wrath. Its weakened trunk, previously supported by bandages and wires, trembled under the impact and began to collapse, clearly battered by the assault. What now? The park staff, eyes wide in disbelief, swiftly approached him, demanding with authority, "Sir, you have deliberately damaged our ancient tree. We require compensation." Compensation? Zhou Qin's anger flared anew as he pointed toward Jiang Yuan's direction, exclaiming, "Why does he not have to pay?" Yet upon glancing over, he discovered that Jiang Yuan had already departed with the Lu sisters. Earlier, Lu Mingming had stumbled and twisted her ankle, and they were now en route to seek medical assistance. The staff maintained a stern demeanor, asserting that gentleman's actions were unintentional, and we shall forgive him. However, your actions were intentional, and that is a different matter altogether. Zhou Qin scoffed dismissively. Compensation? What is the worth of a fake tree? I shall pay whatever is required. He wore an expression of indifference, emboldened by his circumstances. A mere artificial tree. What could it possibly cost? Moreover, his girlfriend hailed from wealth, with her father serving as a high-ranking executive at a renowned gaming company in the southern city. Their outings typically involved luxury cars and lavish residences worth millions. Their leisure expenditures were measured in the tens of thousands. Since becoming involved with this affluent woman, Zhou Qin had lived a life unrestrained, reveling in every indulgence. His return was intended to showcase his superior lifestyle to Su Ru, confident in his resources. Surely, a trivial fake tree could not demand a significant sum in restitution. However, the staff's expressions were grave and filled with contempt, as if they were gazing upon a nefarious villain. Immediately informed Boss Luo. In no time, Uncle Luo appeared, accompanied by his two brothers. These three were not to be trifled with. They were notorious for their misdeeds. Uncle Luo, in particular, harbored a simmering rage, looking for an outlet. The unintentional damage inflicted upon the ancient tree, a treasure of the town, was of immense value. Even the loss of a single branch could result in staggering repercussions. However, he dared not seek compensation from Jiang Yuan and could only concede that the tree was a fake. Meanwhile, this Zhou Qin, who seemed to have emerged from nowhere, audaciously committed a transgression, verging on folly. It appeared that without a lesson to be learned, he would remain unscathed. Uncle Luo's eyes narrowed slightly, reminiscent of a smiling tiger. "Sir, since you have damaged our scenic area's ancient tree, I must ask you to compensate us according to the regulations. 74 million yuan, he stated." Zhou Qin, momentarily bewildered, misheard, thinking he had misunderstood. What? 74,000? The Luo brothers exchanged sardonic smiles, replying in unison, "No, it is 74 million. 74 million? This time, Zhou Qin comprehended, but his expression froze in disbelief. His wealthy girlfriend beside him widened her eyes, revealing a look of incredulity. While their family was indeed affluent compared to the average individual, 74 million was no trifling sum. It was enough to significantly impact their finances. Zhou Qin, in disbelief, shouted, "This is a fake ancient tree. You are trying to extort me. I will not pay. I will sue you." A fake tree indeed. Uncle Luo chuckled in frustration, clapping his hands. Three staff members from the scenic area cautiously presented several documents: the county records, the Plan Identification Certificate, the World Heritage Property Rights Declaration, and the Intangible Cultural Heritage Certification from Longwa. Each document served as irrefutable evidence, solid as a mountain. This tree was undeniably authentic, a genuine millennium-old tree. Personally planted by Ouyang Xiao, its value immeasurable. Uncle Luo smiled. Do you still believe this is a fake tree? The Luo brothers chimed in. You wish to sue us? With all this evidence and surveillance, do you really think you would win? Zhou Qin's expression shifted dramatically, cold sweat beading on his forehead. The tree was indeed real, and he was now facing exorbitant compensation. His wealthy girlfriend appeared stunned, overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events. Zhou Qin took a deep breath, striving to regain his composure. Suddenly, as if grasping a lifeline, he exclaimed, that person also damaged this tree. We should share the compensation, each paying half. This ill-timed reference caused the Luo family's expressions to shift in unison. The idea of making Jiang Yuan pay was utterly preposterous. The gentleman's status was exceedingly esteemed. Even a single finger of his was worth more than the tree itself. Did Zhou Qin truly believe he would require compensation? Absurd. A joke of the highest order. Mr. Zhang's mood was invaluable. Did they dare risk disturbing it for money? Instantly, Zhou Qin felt as though a bucket of cold water had been poured over him. It dawned on him that the reason these individuals insisted the tree was fake was to avoid offending Jiang Yuan. It turns out that Jiang Yuan is not an ordinary individual, but rather a true magnate. However, the grave mistakes he has made are now irrevocable. What awaits him is an astronomical sum in debt compensation. Yet, where would he find the means to pay? He has always relied on the wealth of a rich partner to make ends meet. Shouting, "Could you possibly lend me a hand?" Zhou Qin implored, his face flushed with embarrassment. Your family is so affluent, this over 70 million. To his dismay, his girlfriend swiftly distanced herself, stating, this predicament is of your own making, and it has nothing to do with me. Moreover, I believe we may not be suitable for each other. Please, let us break up immediately. Losing a boyfriend is a matter of finding another, but to lose such a vast amount of money is an entirely different ordeal. How long would it take to recover such a sum? This is no trivial amount. It's over 70 million. A boyfriend may be easily replaced, but can one simply earn back over 70 million? Zhou Qin wept. His face was a mask of shock, while his heart was heavy with regret. He had lost both love and wealth, having not only lost his girlfriend, but also confronted a looming financial burden. Had he known, he would not have harbored ill intentions towards Jiang Yuan. Yet, it was far too late for remorse. Meanwhile, the trio from the Luo family looked at Zhou Qin with malicious intent, saying, please repay the debt promptly, or we shall resort to legal action against you. Zhou Qin felt as though he wished to perish on the spot. Chapter 94, a private date with Lu Shishir having just suffered a fall. Lu Mingming's foot was slightly sprained. Concerned for her well-being, Jiang Yuan decided to take her back to the hospital for some rest. Lu Mingming felt a twinge of anxiety over the trouble she had caused. Although she had narrowly escaped a calamity, a sense of guilt lingered. Believing that her cousin would benefit from spending time alone with Jiang Yuan, she encouraged them to take a stroll together. Thus, Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir began to wander through the nearby town, the closest to Qinghe Township. In their childhood, the most significant adventures they shared were trips from the countryside to this very town, which brimmed with nostalgic memories for both. However, Lu Shishir appeared somewhat withdrawn. Upon her return, Jiang Yuan could clearly sense the weight of her thoughts. Yet, he hesitated to pry into her concerns. The space between them was merely half a meter. Yet, Jiang Yuan felt an illusion that this distance was not as close as he had envisioned. Nevertheless, the profile of Lu Shishir stirred his heart, causing it to race slightly faster. Despite spending his days among stunning beauties, Yao Wenwen, Su Wanting Yidaran, whose allure surpassed that of mere school beauties. Lu Shishir possessed a unique and profound intellectual beauty, perhaps owing to her profession as a teacher. Unbeknownst to him, Lu Shishir was secretly observing Jiang Yuan as well. His striking attractiveness was almost overwhelming, akin to a deep-sea vortex irresistibly drawing in women. Though she struggled to maintain her composure and felt hesitant due to her current circumstances, she could not help but steal glances at him. At that moment, a small team wielding cameras abruptly approached them. A charming and graceful female host greeted them politely. Hello, you two handsome individuals. We are from the Township Street Interviews program. May we take a few minutes of your time to answer some questions? Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir exchanged a glance and nodded in unison. With no pressing matters at hand and appreciating the host's courteous demeanor, They agreed to engage in casual conversation. The host posed her first question: what are your professions? Delivery person. Teacher. Upon hearing Jiang Yuan's occupation, a fleeting flicker of disdain crossed the host's eyes, though she skillfully concealed it. It was evident that she held a greater interest in Lu Shishir's status as an educator. The host then directed the camera towards Lu Shishir, capturing a close-up while subtly diminishing Jiang Yuan's presence in the frame. "And which school do you teach at? Sanzhong, Yizhong, or Fuzhong?" The host inquired, referencing some of the most renowned secondary schools in Nan City. Given that this small town lacked reputable educational institutions, and recognizing Lu Shishir's exceptional demeanor, the host was inclined to inquire further. Lu Shishir shook her head and replied, "None of those. I teach at Lawrence High School in Xiamen." Lawrence High School, the host exclaimed, her heart racing at the revelation. This is an exceedingly renowned international high school. Even in the resource-rich and academically robust city of Xiamen, it firmly holds the esteemed position of being the best institution. More significantly, it is an elite private school, with exceptionally high standards for student quality. There are even rumors suggesting that the admissions process subtly favors students from affluent backgrounds. Those fortunate enough to study at such a prestigious institution are invariably of noble or wealthy lineage. Moreover, the requirements for faculty at Lawrence Academy are exceedingly stringent. To say they select only the finest would be an understatement. It could be more accurately described as a selection process of 1 in a million. Lu Shishir is, without a doubt, a teacher at this ultra-elite academy. Quite remarkable indeed. The female host's demeanor instantly improved, her smile radiating with greater brilliance. She posed the next question: what do you believe your personal criteria for a partner are? The inquiry about partner preferences is evidently of a gossip nature, and many are evidently intrigued by the allure of a beautiful woman. A few onlookers gathered, captivated by the unfolding conversation. "That girl is stunning. Her standards for a partner must be exceptionally high. He must either be extraordinarily handsome or exceedingly wealthy. I would love to be your boyfriend. If I could marry such a beautiful woman, I would gladly sacrifice a decade of my life. Dream on, for even if this goddess were to live 50 years less, you would still not win her heart." In response to the gossip question, Lu Shishir did not hesitate, stating, "I prefer a connection." The host pressed on, "What about those less conventionally attractive?" Lu Shishir replied, "Not at all." The host continued, "If we disregard appearances, what qualities would you seek in a man?" Lu Shishir paused thoughtfully, contemplating for a moment. After approximately 3 minutes, she resigned, saying, "I cannot disregard." A ripple of laughter erupted from everyone present. Jiang Yuan could barely contain his amusement. Who would have thought Lu Shishir was also enamored with looks? At that moment, the female host unveiled her trump card. "Do you think our show's Jack meets your partner criteria?" she inquired, gesturing toward a tall foreign man, standing at 6 feet tall. Jack, the foreign gentleman, possessed a certain charm. His facial features were well defined, though he could not quite rival the handsome Jiang Yuan. Nevertheless, he was indeed a rare sight. Lu Shishir shook her head, stating, "I only consider men from the Dragon Kingdom." Her declaration left Jack visibly displeased, his brows furrowing in discontent. The host, perplexed, questioned, "Why only consider men from the Dragon Kingdom? Many foreign men possess commendable qualities and might be more appealing than those from the Dragon Kingdom." At this juncture, Jiang Yuan could no longer remain silent. He frowned, interjecting, "I believe that for women of the Dragon Kingdom, men from the Dragon Kingdom are the most attractive." Upon hearing Jiang Yuan's voice, the female host immediately directed her gaze towards his face. Chapter 95. In the Dragon Nation. No one could be insulted. The host's gaze towards Jiang Yuan momentarily flickered with disdain. This young man, though undeniably handsome, must be reminded of his station. He is merely a courier. No matter how swiftly a pig may run, it shall ever remain a pig. A handsome courier is still just a courier. This is a simple truth, based solely on his position. How could he dare to assert that the men of the Dragon Nation are most suitable for its women? Absurdity. The reason this program has featured Jack, a foreign man, and posed such a provocative question is fundamentally driven by profit. The investors behind the show, predominantly foreigners, have invested substantial sums with the primary aim of capitalizing on the business of foreign suitors. This venture involves packaging ordinary foreign men and presenting them to the women of the Dragon Nation. The financial gains are twofold, as they can extract fees from both the men and the women involved. The profits are immense. Those foreign men struggling abroad, once they pay, are transformed by these investors into so-called social elites, deceitfully claiming to seek love in the Dragon Nation. Meanwhile, some ignorant and Western-worshipping women in the Dragon Nation, believing they have stumbled upon treasure, unwittingly pay exorbitant sums. By leveraging this online program to extol the virtues of foreign suitors, their business flourishes. Jack, this foreign man, is merely a fade, meticulously crafted yet hollow within. His credentials, background, and abilities are fundamentally fabricated. When the truth eventually comes to light, it will be too late, irreversible. This is a business transaction devoid of conscience. The host, motivated by monetary gain, has thus compromised her integrity, akin to a dog in the service of these investors. As long as the program thrives and the business of foreign suitors flourishes, these investors will reward her handsomely. Her strategy is clear: to promote the advantages of foreign men, adorning them with gold labels. In doing so, she naturally attracts a plethora of naive women from the Dragon Nation to the allure of foreign suitors, ensuring a steady stream of income for the investors. Recently, the program's popularity has surged, leading to her promotion and a substantial bonus in six figures. She feels an overwhelming sense of self-satisfaction, convinced of her bright future, and harbors a palpable disdain for the men of the Dragon Nation. If they were truly so exceptional, would they allow such a business to flourish? Now, a mere courier dares to obstruct her endeavors. It seems prudent to teach this arrogant young man a lesson. The female host, with a facade of politeness masking her disdain, remarked, "Oh, it appears that this young man's thoughts are rather antiquated. It is an undeniable fact that many foreign gentlemen enjoy superior economic conditions compared to those from our esteemed nation." Jiang Yuan shook his head in disagreement, asserting, "It is you who holds outdated views. Our country has undergone a remarkable transformation. Its development is on par with that of numerous nations, and the prospects of our young men are by no means inferior to those of foreigners." The host elongated her tone with a dismissive "oh," then casually extended her right hand towards Jack, saying, "Let us make a comparison. Our Jack here is a graduate of Stanford University, hailing from a family that runs a renowned publicly traded enterprise. Who do you think is more suited to this lovely lady, you or our Jack?" Her words were stark and exposed, nearly pointing an accusatory finger at Jiang Yuan, suggesting he was unworthy. Faced with such provocation, Jiang Yuan raised an eyebrow, feeling that the host had nearly crossed the line. While he could tolerate personal insults, he would not stand for disparagement of his compatriots. It was utterly shameless to claim that foreign men were more deserving of the affections of women from his country for the sake of trivial self-interest. Bystanders around them could no longer contain their disapproval. The production team was thoroughly contemptible. Each time they glorified foreign men, it filled him with disgust. How outrageous it was that such values were being openly propagated in their homeland by these jesters. The delivery man had made a valid point, yet he was subjected to humiliation. It was infuriating how these sycophants of foreign culture could be so brazenly shameless. How could a host, a fellow countryman, sell out his own integrity for monetary gain? While personal grievances may seem trivial, compromising the dignity of his compatriots was an unforgivable sin. His country, the Dragon Nation, would not tolerate such indignities. Determined to no longer conceal his identity, Jiang Yuan took out his phone, preparing to make a call. Observing the growing chill in his demeanor as he began to dial, the host could not suppress a smirk. She exchanged a glance with the handsome Jack. Her eyes filled with arrogance and confidence. They had powerful connections, influential figures backing them. The investors behind this program were among the elite in the southern city, drivers of luxury cars, residents of opulent homes, and masters of their domains. Did they truly believe their considerable influence would be intimidated by a mere delivery man? How audacious of him to confront them so directly, displaying a profound ignorance of his own insignificance. The ever-composed Lu Shishir could no longer remain passive. The disdainful attitude towards Jiang Yuan had become intolerable, and their words were exceedingly unpleasant. She regretted engaging with such individuals, but recognized that given the situation, they could not be blamed for adopting a ruthless stance. To utter such words to brother Jiang Yuan is simply an unforgivable sin. Lu Shishir possesses a character that is both gentle and resolute. A fleeting glimmer of fierce determination flashed in her eyes as she prepared to impart an unforgettable lesson to these individuals. Meanwhile, the three relatives of the Luo family had not truly departed. After dealing with Zhou Chun, they discreetly dispatched someone to follow Jiang Yuan, keeping a close watch on the unfolding events. They were acutely aware of everything that transpired. At this moment, upon hearing the female host's audacious provocation towards Jiang Yuan, they were filled with righteous indignation. How dare a mere foreign production team speak to the esteemed Jiang Yuan in such a manner? Such audacity is tantamount to courting death. They are nothing but clowns engaged in unsavory business, yet they dare to challenge Jiang Yuan. I shall ensure they eternally regret their decision made today. Just a handful of foreigners, audaciously wreaking havoc on our turf. It is imperative that we teach them a lesson they will not soon forget. Chapter 96. The dream shatters in the 13th floor conference room of the Century Building in South City. 17 investors gathered in a circle for a meeting. These investors included those from the Street Interviews program and those involved in the foreign son-in-law business. They were engaged in a spirited discussion about the quarterly financial report. I am honored to announce that this quarter, our financial report showcases a remarkable improvement. We have seen a 36% increase compared to the same period last year. If we continue on this trajectory, we shall achieve unprecedented success in the next quarter. Let us applaud each other's accomplishments. The atmosphere in the room was exuberant, with the entire space buzzing in celebration following the announcement of the report. The sound of voices filled the air, and applause erupted like thunder, resonating throughout the vast conference room. Each investor wore an unmistakable smile, as this marked the third significant increase of a year, surpassing last year's growth rate with ferocity. The profits seemed as effortless as printing money. If this momentum persists, the returns on each investor's contributions could reach staggering figures. Indeed, the decision to invest here proved to be astute. The sentiment that the Dragon Kingdom's money was indeed easy to earn echoed in the hearts of the investors. However, just as joy permeated the gathering, a dire piece of news abruptly surfaced. An anonymous report claimed that we were concealing the true identities of our clients and were allegedly involved in fraudulent activities. Furthermore, it was revealed that our clients' documentation was incomplete, and we were ordered to repatriate them immediately. In an instant, the conference room was engulfed in a chilling silence. The sudden revelation plunged them into a state akin to hell. If these foreign men were sent back, their entire business would be obliterated. The potential exposure of their true identities could lead to lawsuits and accusations of fraud. The founders managed to force a semblance of a smile, assuring everyone, "Do not worry. We have a plan to resolve this. We will certainly contain this situation. Even if this venture is compromised, we have myriad other business opportunities. And our next quarterly report will continue to show robust growth." The others in the room, hearing these words, offered tentative smiles, tinged with unease. After all, such matters were unpredictable. They all recognized that they were merely painting an optimistic picture to maintain morale. Without this crucial business, the figures in the upcoming quarterly report would likely not be as favorable. Meanwhile, the anonymous whistleblowers were none other than the trio from the Luo family. In terms of sheer strength, it was impossible for them to confront the renowned investors of South City directly. Yet, they were undeterred in their efforts to contribute. They discreetly gathered information through various channels and submitted a portion of the evidence. While they could not bring about significant harm, they managed to exact a measure of retribution for Jiang Yuan. To provoke our esteemed Jiang Yuan is truly to court disaster. Now, we shall see how you manage your business. While I may not promise to eradicate you entirely, rest assured that you will incur substantial losses. The trio from the Luo family is resolutely intent on clinging to Jiang Yuan's coattails, promptly designating him as their leader. It is the duty of a subordinate to avenge their superior. Yet, this is merely the inception of a much larger scheme. A single phone call from Jiang Yuan has already reached Manager Wang of the Fiskalton restaurant. Jiang Yuan succinctly relayed the situation. Manager Wang, being an astute and seasoned individual, immediately comprehended the gravity of the matter. "Rest assured, Mr. Jiang, I guarantee you a satisfactory outcome." He promptly reached out to his extensive network, leveraging the substantial funds and formidable influence provided by Jiang Yuan. He aimed to impart an unforgettable lesson to these ignorant individuals. The Tianming Group's refusal to repay has jeopardized our financial stability. A partnership of 7 years is on the brink of dissolution. Our internal supply capacity is woefully inadequate, and our business is in ruins. In the conference room of the Century Building, chaos erupted. Every face was contorted with rage and disbelief. None could have anticipated that mere moments ago, they were dreaming of soaring profits in the upcoming quarterly report. Yet, in the blink of an eye, various business troubles emerged. Almost all partner enterprises and groups turned their backs. The financial chain hangs by a thread, and production capacity has collapsed. They have become pariahs, with no one daring to continue collaboration. It is as if an unseen force is intent on obliterating their enterprise. All of this transpired in less than an hour. The situation has taken a dramatic turn, leaving everyone bewildered and fearful. The signs clearly indicate that a formidable figure is orchestrating their downfall. Yet they remain oblivious to whom they have offended. Investigate immediately. Who have we angered? Who possesses such immense power? conduct a thorough inquiry. In the midst of their frantic investigation, they quickly notice the situation concerning Jiang Yuan. There is no doubt, this is the sole possibility. The issue undoubtedly lies here. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan is confronting the production team. The female host continues to wear an air of arrogance, dismissing Jiang Yuan entirely. Yet, both the audacious Jack and the female host receive a phone call simultaneously. Are you both out of your minds? It's over, completely over. We are all doomed because of your foolishness. Immediately bow down and apologize to the person you have offended, listening to the nearly frenzied shouts echoing in their ears. The female host is taken aback, and the foreign male, Jack, stands frozen. For a moment, they cannot fathom the gravity of the situation. What on earth is happening? Immediately, a chilling sensation surged through them, striking their very core. They instinctively turned their gazes towards Jiang Yuan. Could it be that this courier was, in fact, a figure of considerable influence? However, before they could ponder further, a vehicle carrying investigators from the relevant authorities hastily arrived at the scene. We are here to apprehend you for endangering public opinion and safety. You have the right to remain silent, but we ask for your cooperation. The female host gasped, yet no sound escaped her lips. Jack's expression turned ashen. This turn of events was undoubtedly orchestrated by Lu Shishir. Chapter 97. Returned to Qinghe Township after the entire unscrupulous production team was apprehended on the spot. Bystanders were taken aback. My goodness, the retribution arrived with astonishing swiftness. Just moments ago, the production team appeared to have the upper hand, yet in the blink of an eye, they collapsed. The delivery man was truly formidable. Crushing this group of people seemed no different from squashing a colony of ants. Such prowess from a delivery man made me contemplate a career change to delivering parcels myself. Perhaps he has influential connections. It is not merely a possibility. This young man likely possesses significant backing. Rumor has it that this production team also has powerful figures behind it. However, it is evident that they are utterly fragile, indicating that the delivery man's influence surpasses theirs by a considerable margin. Initially, the crowd was engulfed in a wave of shock and suspicion, casting furtive glances at Jiang Yuan. Yet, upon recalling the production team's blatant promotion of foreign men while belittling the worth of Dragon Country's men, they felt a sense of vindication. Shortly thereafter, a chorus of approval erupted. Well done. Justice prevails. How could our illustrious Dragon Country tolerate such foreign clowns causing a ruckus? It is a moment of great relief and joy. Jiang Yuan observed the surrounding crowd, who were increasingly sneaking glances at him, with some even pulling out their phones to capture candid shots. On one hand, they wished to document this sensational event for the internet. On the other, they aimed to immortalize Jiang Yuan's striking looks. He was not keen on having his image circulating online the following day. Grasping Lu Shishir's hand, he made his way toward the parking lot. Following this incident, Jiang Yuan had undoubtedly gained notoriety in this small town. It was likely that no one would remain unaware of him. Jiang Yuan decided to return directly to Qinghe Township to visit his mother. Lu Shishir, having come back to attend the ancestral worship ceremony, was asked about her plans, and he resolved to take her back to Qinghe Township with him. As for Lu Mengmeng, she would need a few days to recuperate, and he would return to fetch her later. The news of the unscrupulous production team's downfall spread rapidly. The town, already small, was in close proximity to Qinghe Township. As the information disseminated from one person to another, it soon reached Jiang Yuan's hometown. The neighbors in Qinghe Township engaged in fervent discussions. Such a trashy production team should have been shut down long ago. Indeed, openly promoting the notion that foreign men are more suitable for our Dragon Country's women is utterly ridiculous. While the residents of Qinghe Township were engrossed in their conversations, some began to shift the topic. What does it mean to be unworthy of Dragon Country's women? Our child, having graduated just 2 years ago, is already a vice president at a company, earning a 6-figure salary annually. Can that truly be deemed unworthy? Who can deny it? These individuals possess a penchant for generalization. My child, too, graduated only a few years ago, yet has already acquired both a car and a house without any financial assistance from me. He now runs his own company and is far from financially troubled. My child is indeed quite accomplished. Not only does he excel in his career, but his girlfriend hails from a prestigious family, being both beautiful and affluent, and they are set to marry by the year's end. They seize every opportunity to boast about their children's achievements. Who wouldn't wish to share the remarkable accomplishments of their own offspring? What a source of pride that brings. On the surface, they critique the values espoused by the program. Yet in reality, they seek to showcase their children's successes to others, engaging in a subtle competition. Jiang Yuan's mother initially yearned to partake in this discussion, eager to contribute her thoughts. With her child often absent and her husband frequently away for work, she longed for companionship. However, as the conversation shifted towards others flaunting their children's accomplishments, she found herself awkwardly falling silent. The tales of other children's successes, running companies, establishing businesses, and securing partnerships with exceptional young women who were soon to wed, only deepened her sense of inadequacy. Jiang Yuan's mother couldn't help but let out a resigned sigh. Meanwhile, the neighbors began to gossip, noting that Jiang Yuan, despite his age, was merely a courier. They lamented the fact that a potential match had turned him down. How unfortunate! Perhaps we should have our own children assist him. But how could they? Jiang Yuan is just a courier. Even being made a manager would not elevate his status. Among these prattling neighbors, it was the mother of the Luo brothers who spoke with the most fervor. Everyone knew that during their school days, the Luo brothers consistently ranked at the bottom of their class, a true pair of underachievers. It was a source of great embarrassment for their mother, who often felt humiliated by her children's academic performance. However, times have changed. Having left the confines of academia and entered the workforce, the Luo brothers now thrive in the beverage procurement business, thanks to a relative's assistance, enjoying a comfortable life. They have not only purchased cars and homes, but also find it effortlessly easy to seek romantic partners. This newfound ease fills their mother with pride. During their school years, Jiang Yuan consistently outperformed his peers, often inciting envy in Luo's mother, who wondered how Jiang Yuan's mother could be blessed with such a brilliant son. Yet, the tables have turned. The Luo brothers have found success and wealth, while Jiang Yuan remains merely a courier. This stark contrast is truly devastating. Luo's mother could barely contain her laughter, nearly losing her composure in delight. Wasn't Jiang Yuan the top performer back then? My child is currently at the bottom of the class, yet they are thriving far better than Jiang Yuan by 1,000-fold. At this moment, Mother Luo has found her opportunity and is ready to seize it. Jokingly, she muses that if not now, when? I've heard your child is living quite ordinarily. She feigns concern, approaching Jiang Yuan's mother. Would you like my child to assist in securing a good job for him? Jiang Yuan's mother paused for a moment and replied, what Jiang Yuan enjoys doing is his own affair. Regardless of his status or income, in my heart, he will always be the best. As his mother, all I wish for is his safety and well-being. Upon hearing this, Mother Luo smirked slightly, about to respond, when she glanced through the window and saw two cars returning to Qinghe Township. One was Jiang Yuan's Fei Tweet 500, while the other was a Mercedes-Benz belonging to the Luo brothers. Chapter 98. The astonished mother of Jiang Yuan in Qinghe Township. The Luo brothers trailed behind Jiang Yuan's vehicle. Upon learning that Jiang Yuan was returning to his hometown, the duo eagerly followed, for Jiang Yuan represented a significant opportunity in their eyes. He was not only their fellow townsman, but also a childhood classmate. Now, having risen to prominence, he had become a formidable figure. If they did not seize the moment to align themselves with him, they would indeed be foolish. Moreover, since they had latched onto Uncle Luo's influence and secured a lucrative position, they had developed a taste for the benefits of such connections. The arduous path of self-reliance paled in comparison to the allure of riding on the coattails of someone successful. Striving on their own would yield the meager returns of pedaling a small tricycle, laborious and ineffective. In contrast, aligning with Jiang Yuan felt akin to boarding a swift express train, or even a rocket, promising rapid advancement with minimal effort and worry. Thus, the scene unfolded with Jiang Yuan at the helm of his vehicle, followed closely by the Luo brothers. Their journey soon brought them to their destination. Jiang Yuan did not exit the car immediately. Instead, he instructed the Luo brothers on various tasks. Having gone several hours without sustenance, both he and Lu Shishir felt the pangs of hunger. Upon consulting with Lu Shishir, they found themselves yearning for the taste of the local delicacy, Qinghe crabs. Qinghe crabs, a specialty of Qinghe Township, possess a unique appearance. Their bodies are smaller, yet their claws are robust, and their shells are adorned with more pointed spines compared to ordinary crabs. The meat is exquisitely delicate, exuding a natural fragrance that is quite exceptional. Once tasted, it leaves an indelible impression. Although the crab roe and mustard may not rival the renowned butter crabs in flavor, the crab meat's freshness offers a distinct delight. With hearts full of longing for their hometown, Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir were eager to savor the flavor of Qinghe crabs. However, the Luo brothers found themselves in a quandary. This was not the season for abundant Qinghe crabs, which are notoriously difficult to catch, rendering them quite scarce. The brothers were momentarily stumped. Meanwhile, despite being at a considerable distance, Luo's mother recognized her son's vehicle at once. It was a Mercedes, a renowned luxury car. With a glint of excitement in her eyes, she prepared to drag Jiang Yuan's mother to meet her sons, eager to boast about them in front of Jiang Yuan's mother. Reluctantly, Jiang Yuan's mother acquiesced. Luo's mother was so intent on showcasing her sons that she almost forcibly brought Jiang Yuan's mother along. However, as they approached with eager anticipation, they were met with a sight that left them utterly astonished. The Luo brothers, displaying a subservient demeanor, were inquiring of a distinguished young man seated within the car. However, due to the considerable distance, Jiang Yuan's mother and Luo's mother could not discern the features of the individual in the vehicle. Merely observing the demeanor of the Luo brothers, it appeared that the young man within the car possessed an extraordinary identity. In an instant, Luo's mother felt a profound sense of embarrassment. Initially, she had feigned kindness by bringing Jiang Yuan's mother along to boast about her children's achievements. Yet, she was unexpectedly confronted with such a scene. Her two sons were bowing and scraping to curry favor with someone of significance. This thought, however, lingered only briefly in Luo's mind. The next moment, she reconsidered. Her sons were now individuals who drove a Mercedes and resided in a villa. If even they were eager to please this person, he must undoubtedly be a prominent figure. Seizing the opportunity, Luo's mother began to extol her son to Jiang Yuan's mother, asserting that her son had surely brought a notable personage to the ancestral worship ceremony. Traditionally, the ceremony had always included invitations to distinguished guests from outside. Her son was employed at a major entertainment enterprise in South City and had likely brought along one of its executives. On the day of the ceremony, it was highly probable that this important individual would take center stage. Jiang Yuan's mother, you must seize this opportunity. My son has brought with him such a distinguished guest. If you merely put forth a good impression, perhaps I could persuade my son to intercede on your behalf and secure a commendable position for Jiang Yuan, leading to a prosperous future. Luo's words flowed forth like a relentless stream, her face radiating a sense of superiority as if she were inherently above others. Jiang Yuan's mother, unable to bear the sight, felt powerless. What could she do? The success of their son had given rise to such circumstances. Moreover, judging by the scene, it seemed the Luo brothers had indeed returned with an extraordinary individual. From a great distance, they could see the unmistakable expressions of sycophancy on the faces of the Luo brothers, along with their extremely respectful and humble demeanor. These were the notorious Luo brothers, known for their arrogance and propensity for verbal abuse. In the past, they had been infamous local bullies, and now, having amassed wealth in South City, their arrogance had only intensified. Their disdainful attitude was palpable. For someone as notoriously ill-mannered as the Luo brothers to adopt such a servile demeanor, it was evident that the young man must possess an extraordinary status. Jiang Yuan's mother found herself in a predicament. On one hand, she recognized that Luo's mother was not genuinely altruistic, but rather seeking to flaunt her own success. On the other hand, she contemplated a different perspective. If this connection could indeed help her son secure a good position, then her efforts as a mother would have been worthwhile. Just as she was lost in thought, the Luo brothers spotted their mother from afar and hurried over. Mom, is there a way to procure some Qinghe crabs? No matter the cost. Upon hearing this, Luo's mother immediately turned her gaze toward Jiang Yuan's mother. By a fortunate coincidence, upon learning that Jiang Yuan was about to return home, his mother had prepared several plump Qinghe crabs days in advance, eager for her son to savor the delicacies. No, those are for my son. I will not part with them for any price, Jiang Yuan's mother firmly declared, shaking her head. The Luo brothers, unfamiliar with Jiang Yuan's mother, had heard of her prized crabs, but were met with resistance in their attempts to procure them. Their expressions darkened as they retorted, "You won't sell them, no matter the cost. Mind your words, old woman. I suggest you recognize your place." Just as the Luo brothers were preparing to assert their dominance, Jiang Yuan arrived in his vehicle. Who truly lacks awareness of their standing? Came Jiang Yuan's cold voice from inside the car. His mother recognized that familiar tone immediately, her face betraying a hint of uncertainty. The Luo brothers quickly adopted a fawning demeanor, dismissively stating, "She is merely a countrywoman." "That is my mother," Jiang Yuan replied, icily. Ding. Shot points 500 ding. Shot points 500. The Luo brothers were left dumbfounded, as were Jiang Yuan's mother and Luo's mother. In an instant, the expressions of everyone present shifted dramatically. Chapter 99. The confounded Romu upon discovering that the middle-aged woman was Jiang Yuan's mother. The Luo brothers were instantly paralyzed with fear. Their trousers nearly soaked. Their legs trembled incessantly, as if they were on the verge of collapsing to their knees. In their relentless pursuit to fulfill Jiang Yuan's demands, they had adopted a reckless and desperate attitude. Jiang Yuan had expressed a desire for Qinghe crabs, and they were determined to unearth several, even if it meant digging to the very depths of the earth. However, upon learning that this woman possessed Qinghe crabs yet was unwilling to part with them, they instinctively resorted to intimidation. Moments earlier, their expressions had been brazen, their gestures crude, and their voices aggressive, a true embodiment of thuggish brutality. A mere disagreement had nearly escalated into violence. Yet, as Jiang Yuan drove up, his cold voice pierced through the air, revealing her identity as his mother. To the ears of the brothers, it was akin to a thunderclap, a jarring revelation that shattered their confidence. They had not returned to their hometown in years and could hardly recognize Jiang Yuan's mother. A wave of dread washed over them. What foolishness had they just engaged in? They had treated Jiang Yuan's mother with such disgraceful insolence. Had they known her true identity, even the bravest of hearts would have faltered in her presence. The Luo brothers were engulfed in despair, their minds racing with regret. Driven by impulse, they decided to kneel and seek forgiveness, hoping for leniency. Without a moment's hesitation, they collapsed onto the ground, abandoning all dignity. We sincerely apologize for our earlier offenses. We were blind to our folly and failed to recognize your esteemed status. Please forgive our ignorance. Seeing her sons trembling, resembling prisoners who had committed a grave crime, filled with genuine fear and humility, Luo Mu was taken aback. She had initially brought Jiang Yuan's mother along to boast about her son's current prosperity and influence. Yet, the reality was starkly different. At that moment, her two sons knelt without hesitation, exhibiting utter subservience. How profoundly humbling. Most astonishing of all was the realization that the formidable figure they had been so obsequious to was, in fact, Jiang Yuan. Now, because of their offense towards his mother, they were on their knees, pleading for mercy. Luo Mu immediately urged her sons, "What are you doing? This is so embarrassing. Get up." But the Luo brothers remained unmoved, their faces etched with anxiety as they replied, "We shall not rise until we have received your forgiveness." Luo Mu gazed at her sons, feeling an unfamiliarity wash over her. Were these truly the same boys who drove luxurious cars, resided in grand villas, and spent money lavishly? Known for their domineering nature, how could such fierce tigers be reduced to mere frightened kittens? No matter how earnestly she urged them to rise, the brothers remained kneeling, heads bowed low, nearly prostrating themselves. Could it be that Jiang Yuan held some leverage over her sons? Doubts began to creep into Luo Mu's mind. In recent years, the Luo brothers have not been shy about engaging in nefarious deeds. Perhaps they had been caught by Jiang Yuan, who was now holding them to ransom, speculated their mother. Yet, the most astonishing revelation belonged to Jiang Yuan's mother. Upon hearing her son's voice emanating from the car, her mind momentarily blanked. The influential figure, whom the Luo brothers had been so obsequious towards, was, in fact, her own son, Jiang Yuan. How could her son, merely an ordinary courier, possibly be someone worthy of such flattery from the wealthy brothers? What on earth was happening? Was there a misunderstanding? Jiang Yuan's mother found it hard to accept the drastic transformation of her son's identity, leaving her momentarily dazed. However, as she witnessed the Luo brothers kneeling before her, she hurriedly urged, "You, please rise, act normal." The brothers, however, were obstinately united in their response. "We shall not rise until we have your forgiveness." Jiang Yuan's mother quickly replied, "Forgiveness, I forgive you. Now please stand up. It would be quite improper to be seen like this in broad daylight." Yet, the Luo brothers remained resolute, insisting, "We require the forgiveness of the esteemed Jiang Yuan." Jiang Yuan esteemed? Upon hearing them refer to her son in such a manner, both Jiang Yuan's mother and Luo's mother were taken aback. Yet, before they could ponder further, Jiang Yuan's cold voice emerged from the car, stating, "Considering this is your first offense, and you are unaware, I will impose a penalty of kneeling for half an hour." Half an hour! Upon hearing this, Luo's mother grew frantic. The scorching sun had already transformed the ground into a blistering hot surface. Kneeling for half an hour. Wouldn't that be excruciating? But before she could voice her concerns, she noticed the Luo brothers visibly relieved, their faces breaking into smiles of relief. How wonderful! The esteemed Jiang Yuan was willing to impose a punishment, indicating he would forgive them. Half an hour was bearable. They could endure it. Observing her son's abject behavior, Luo's mother began to doubt her own reality. Was this all a dream? Had Jiang Yuan bewitched her sons? Their obedience was beyond mere compliance. It was utter servility. Ultimately, it was Jiang Yuan's mother who spoke up. "One should show mercy when possible. This is excessive." Hearing his mother's words, Jiang Yuan fell silent for a moment before responding. Note this half-hour penalty, and now you may rise. At his words, the Luo brothers immediately stood up without hesitation. Luo's mother bit her lip, perplexed as she gazed at her two sons. Despite her lengthy entreaties, they had disregarded her. Yet at Jiang Yuan's command, they followed suit without question. They knelt when told, and they stood when instructed, as if they were mere subservient figures in Jiang Yuan's household. What on earth was going on? She resolved to question them thoroughly later. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan opened the car door and stepped out. "Mother, you have grown more beautiful after these few days apart," Jiang Yuan exclaimed with a playful grin. He immediately embraced her warmly, and after a prolonged separation, his mother felt a wave of nostalgia. However, she was somewhat perplexed by the air of nobility that enveloped Jiang Yuan at that moment. It was an indescribable aura that typically graces those of wealth and privilege. Although she could not quite discern what had transpired with her son, her longing for him brought a glimmer of tears to her eyes as she playfully scolded, "You rascal." Returning only after such a long time, Jiang Yuan chuckled, deftly shifting the topic. "Mother, since I have finally returned, let us dine together at Jufu Lu." Chapter 100. The stunning Lu Shishi Jufu Lu, one of the few fine dining establishments in Qinghe Township, is reputed for its exquisite cuisine. The proprietor, a renowned chef in his youth, traveled extensively and mastered 3 distinct culinary styles, crafting dishes that are nothing short of delectable. However, dining at Jufu Lu tends to be on the pricier side. Yet, after a long absence from her cherished son Jiang Yuan, his mother was more than willing to indulge. She readily agreed to the outing. However, a thought struck her, causing her to hesitate momentarily. "Xiao Yuan," she began, "about that girl I introduced you last time." Upon hearing his mother's hesitant mention of the matchmaker's daughter, Yi Ke, Jiang Yuan felt a twinge of confusion. Wasn't she merely a passerby? He had been eager to meet Yi Ran and had hastily dismissed Yi Ke. Unbeknownst to him, that day, Yi Ke, feeling unworthy of Jiang Yuan, had expressed her discontent to the matchmaker, inadvertently creating a misunderstanding that led everyone to believe she was looking down on him. Jiang Yuan's mother had also misconstrued the situation, thinking her son had been snubbed in the matchmaking process. Just as she was about to offer her son some words of comfort, a breathtaking beauty, akin to a celestial being with skin as smooth as jade, gracefully descended from Jiang Yuan's vehicle. It was none other than Lu Shishi. With a polite smile, she greeted, "Hello, Auntie. I am Jiang Yuan's friend, Lu Shishi." Jiang Yuan's mother was momentarily taken aback at the sight of the enchanting Lu Shishi. But soon her heart swelled with joy. A sense of pride and satisfaction gleamed in her eyes as she looked at Jiang Yuan. "You rascal, who would have thought you had such charm to bring home such a stunning girl?" Jiang Yuan, slightly taken aback, replied, "She's just an ordinary friend. Please don't think too much of it." "I understand, you young people often feel shy about admitting things," she responded knowingly. Jiang Yuan, feeling somewhat helpless, was about to offer further explanation. While he himself was thick-skinned, Lu Shishi was a modest young woman. Yet, he noticed Lu Shishi standing quietly beside him, her cheeks tinged with shyness, neither opposing nor displaying displeasure. Instead, there was a hint of delight upon her face, reminiscent of a bashful bride meeting her in-laws. Seeing this, Jiang Yuan wisely chose to remain silent and ushered his mother and Lu Shishi into the car. The trio set off for Jufu Lu. Meanwhile, Luo's mother stood nearby, diligently brushing off the dust from her two sons' knees while her eyes gradually revealed an intense jealousy. "My sons, has Jiang Yuan got something on you too? Tell me," Luo's mother inquired in a hushed tone. The Luo brothers exchanged glances, caught between laughter and tears, and replied, "It's not like that." However, hearing her son's denials only solidified Luo's mother's suspicions. Surely, they were simply trying to spare her worry by withholding the truth. Luo Mu, feeling a tinge of indignation, softly remarked, "What is there for Jiang Yuan to be so proud of? He was even looked down upon during a blind date, and this incident has spread like wildfire, everyone knows." Upon hearing their mother audaciously disparaging the esteemed Jiang Yuan, the Luo brothers' expressions shifted dramatically, and they hurriedly covered her mouth. They dared not speak recklessly. This could lead to dire consequences. If Jiang Yuan were to learn of this, we would be doomed. Observing her son's cowardly demeanor, almost as if they regarded Jiang Yuan as a ferocious beast, Luo Mu felt a surge of irritation. However, when her peripheral vision caught sight of Lu Shishi standing gracefully beside Jiang Yuan, her thoughts were abruptly derailed. What a stunning young lady! Luo Mu was taken aback. She had initially intended to exploit Jiang Yuan's embarrassing blind date incident for gossip, But upon seeing Lu Shih, that notion vanished. Goodness, a beauty of such caliber. And she is with Jiang Yuan. Her looks are such that even many glamorous celebrities pale in comparison. In terms of beauty and figure, she utterly eclipses the vast majority of women. Such an exquisite gem should not be within the grasp of an ordinary man. What on earth is the story behind Jiang Yuan? Luo Mu pondered in confusion. The Luo brothers immediately began to elucidate, excitedly recounting Jiang Yuan's multifaceted identities, his various enterprises, and the myriad of legends surrounding him. With each revelation, Luo Mu's expression transformed, her heart racing with astonishment, accompanied by a deep sense of regret and trepidation. Jiang Yuan's power is truly formidable, she murmured. What are we waiting for? Let us hasten to follow Jiang Yuan's vehicle. We must seize this opportunity. Within the confines of the Jufu building, the ancestral worship ceremony brought many young individuals back to their hometown. After years apart, they naturally congregated in groups at the Jufu building, accompanied by their parents for a celebratory meal. Many of these young people had achieved considerable success abroad, providing an excellent opportunity for them to showcase their accomplishments, as well as an ideal moment to forge advantageous connections. Unsurprisingly, the spotlight gravitated towards Zhao Tianming. As a distinguished graduate of a prestigious foreign institution who returned to co-found Tianqi Game Company, which ranks second in the domestic gaming industry only to Yuanmei Games, Zhao Tianming, as the vice president of Tianqi, undoubtedly became the center of attention for all the young women present. Brother Tianming, allow me to raise a toast to you. I'll join you in a toast as well. One after another, beautiful young women, poised and elegant, raised their glasses in Zhao Tianming's honor. Ostensibly, their reason was the long absence, but their fervent glances towards him betrayed their true intentions. If someone as affluent as Zhao Tianming were to take an interest in them, wouldn't they soar to new heights? In that moment, he soared to the pinnacle of success, transforming into a phoenix, basking in the glory and wealth that life had to offer. Yet, there were those who eagerly sought to attach themselves to him, while others harbored a sense of indignation deep within. Their careers paled in comparison to Zhao Tianming's remarkable achievements, and they remained single. Nevertheless, the gaze of the vast majority of women in the room was firmly fixed upon Zhao Tianming. Many were displeased, a group of superficial admirers, intent only on clinging to his success. They mused that someone like Zhao Tianming would never deign to notice women of such mediocre beauty. A number of young men regarded the scene with disdain. Just then, however, a stunning beauty entered through the doors of the Gathering Fortune Pavilion. Upon her arrival, the entire room seemed to illuminate, and any man who beheld her found it nearly impossible to divert his gaze. Even Zhao Tianming himself was momentarily lost in a daze. Chapter 101. The disdain of the elders within the confines of the Gathering Fortune Pavilion, the extraordinary Lu Shih made her entrance, instantly captivating the entire assembly. Her beauty, without a shadow of a doubt, served as a formidable weapon, one with immense destructive power. Every man present, upon beholding Lu Shih's radiant visage, found themselves parched and their hearts aflame, a primal instinct rising from the depths of their souls, utterly irresistible. Their gazes were ensnared, unable to divert even a fraction. Each of her movements seemed to tug at the strings of their hearts. Even Zhao Tianming, who was accustomed to the company of enchanting beauties, could not quell the surge of emotions coursing through him at that moment, nearly losing himself in the fervor. Particularly, when he recalled the news he had received from Lu Mengmeng, his heart burned even more intensely. However, it was not only the younger men who were entranced by Lu Shih. Numerous elders were equally transfixed, their eyes reflecting admiration. This girl possesses remarkable qualities. I wonder if our child has a chance to win her heart. It appears she hails from the Lu family. Indeed, she is quite striking. I wonder if she is single and if our child has any opportunity. With Zhao Tianming around, perhaps it is unlikely. Just as all attention was riveted on Lu Shih, an unforeseen event transpired. As soon as she stepped inside, Jiang Yuan emerged from behind her, entering the building at her side. The two engaged in soft conversation, their proximity suggesting a closeness that, combined with their striking appearances, made them seem like a pair of exquisite lovers. To outsiders, they appeared remarkably well-matched, akin to a couple. The sound of shattered hearts echoed throughout the room. Jiang Yuan's presence unequivocally indicated that Lu Shih might indeed have a boyfriend. The goddess could possibly be taken. Such a revelation was profoundly disheartening. Nevertheless, upon Jiang Yuan's arrival, many recognized him immediately. Jiang Yuan, is that you? You rascal, it's been ages. And you've become even more handsome. Come, Have a seat. Let us share a drink. Numerous old friends approached Jiang Yuan, laughing and playfully thumping their chests in camaraderie. Known for his amiable nature, Jiang Yuan was warmly welcomed by many. After ensuring that his mother and Lu Shishir were settled at their designated table, Jiang Yuan cheerfully caught up with them. As familiar acquaintances, the spirits of youth intertwined, allowing for a carefree exchange devoid of rigid boundaries or notions of status. However, the parents present regarded Jiang Yuan with furrowed brows. That's Jiang Yuan, a mere delivery man. How could our child possibly associate with him? This is absurd. It's sheer folly to frolic with a delivery worker. What future could that hold? You should be currying favor with Zhao Tianming instead. Such childishness. Our child has yet to mature and understands nothing. Zhao Tianming is clearly the most valuable individual here, and they choose to drink with that delivery man. How foolish and ignorant. Many elderly individuals possess remarkable astuteness. Upon observing their children engaging in jovial conversations over drinks with Jiang Yuan, their expressions immediately darkened. However, when they noticed Zhao Tianming also joining Jiang Yuan for a few rounds of merriment and laughter, their brows relaxed slightly. Yet, the disdain etched in their features towards Jiang Yuan lingered. In the realm of fame and fortune, identity and status govern all. A mere courier naturally evoked their contempt. Meanwhile, many old acquaintances were embracing Jiang Yuan, sharing hearty drinks, while simultaneously unable to restrain their curiosity. Jiang Yuan, is that stunning girl your girlfriend? The stunning girl undoubtedly referred to Lu Shishir, whose beauty and figure undeniably surpassed all others present. Jiang Yuan shook his head and replied, just a friend. The speaker's intentions were innocent, yet the listeners interpreted it differently. His simple statement mended countless fractured young hearts, for if she was not Jiang Yuan's girlfriend, it implied they still had a chance. A coveted flower remained unclaimed. How delightful! At that moment, the venerable village chief entered the gathering at Zhu Fu Lu. With a beaming smile, he surveyed the room, his eyes filled with warmth and admiration. These were the children he had watched grow. Upon spotting Jiang Yuan and Zhao Tianming, a tender glimmer of affection shone in his gaze. However, he had matters to attend to. Clearing his throat, the old chief signaled for quiet. His esteemed presence commanded attention, and the room gradually fell silent, no one daring to speak. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope to take a moment of your time, the old chief began. Zhu Fu Lu, our finest restaurant, is graced today by many of you who possess a means. Most of you are talented individuals who have emerged from Qinghe Township, well aware of the scarcity of educational resources we face. I hope you can collectively contribute to the construction of a Qinghe Hope Primary School. The old chief spoke eloquently with a singular aim, to rally everyone to pool their resources to fund the establishment of a hopeful school, employing reliable teachers for the children. While Qinghe Township is indeed blessed with talent, each individual has traversed a challenging path, burdened by an undeniable lack of educational resources. Zhu Fu Lu, being the premier establishment in Qinghe Township, attracts patrons who are, if not affluent, at least respectable figures who have achieved notable success. Thus, the old chief chose this venue to solicit donations, hoping to harness the collective strength of the community to build a school. His intentions were pure and noble, aspiring for more children to have the opportunity to excel and witness the world beyond. Upon hearing the chief's words, many young individuals spontaneously burst into applause. Since this is a project for our hometown's future, I will take the lead in donating. This is indeed a splendid opportunity, and I shall certainly participate. Many young individuals have expressed their willingness to contribute to the cause. According to the customary practices of Qinghe Township, donors are required to take the stage to introduce themselves, elaborate on their endeavors, and ultimately declare the amount they wish to donate. Numerous young people who have achieved modest success in their pursuits are suddenly invigorated by this prospect. Contributing to this cause holds 4 significant advantages. Firstly, publicly announcing their accomplishments over the years undoubtedly brings honor to their parents. At this moment, the gathering at Zhu Fu Lu is essentially a congregation of the most esteemed elders in the community. The pride that comes with this recognition is far from trivial. It is immensely gratifying. Secondly, the enchanting Lu Shishir remains unattached, and this donation event presents a perfect opportunity to showcase one's merits before her. By proclaiming one's achievements in front of an audience, one can directly convey their capabilities to the goddess herself. Who knows, perhaps she might develop a fondness for them. Thirdly, it is a chance to flaunt one's success in front of old acquaintances. After all, who doesn't cherish a bit of pride, especially in the presence of familiar faces It is delightful to let them know just how well one is faring these days. The satisfaction derived from this is truly exhilarating. Chapter 102. Who among the younger generation is most promising? As for the fourth point, it is a sincere desire to contribute to their hometown. Their current achievements are undoubtedly intertwined with the education they receive there. With four notable advantages, it is only natural that the minds of many young individuals are stirred with enthusiasm. Immediately, several successful young people took the lead in participating. Zhao Tianming's gaze flickered as he glanced toward Lu Shishir, then shifted to the profile of Jiang Yuan. Xiao Yuan, I have long wished for you to join my company. Zhao Tianming mused. Allow me to showcase my capabilities, so you do not doubt my potential and think there is no future in collaborating with me. Moreover, he felt a sense of competition in philanthropy. Witnessing the fervor of the youth, the elderly village chief felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He established a modest podium at the center of the gathering fortune hall, drawing everyone's attention toward it. Many young women were captivated, their eyes fixated, eager to discover who among the younger generation would prove to be the most accomplished. However, while they observed the podium, their gazes would occasionally drift toward Jiang Yuan, whose striking appearance was simply too dazzling for them to ignore. After a while, they couldn't help but sigh softly. If only Jiang Yuan were not a courier, they lamented. With such handsome features, if he were merely an ordinary white-collar worker, I would willingly marry him. But as a courier, I find it difficult to accept. The sentiments of many young women were strikingly uniform. They both coveted Jiang Yuan's physique and felt disdain for his current occupation. This deeply conflicted mindset imbued their gazes towards him with a complex array of emotions. In contrast, Jiang Yuan remained unfazed by their attention, having developed an immunity to such scrutiny from women over time, effortlessly ignoring their gazes. As he surveyed the makeshift charitable podium, Jiang Yuan smiled slightly and raised a glass. Taking a sip, he was curious to see how these individuals had fared over the years. The first to ascend the stage was a young man wearing round-frame glasses and a simple white t-shirt. Hello everyone, I am Yi Ming, a graduate of Nanjing Transportation University. Yi Ming was one of the acquaintances who had warmly welcomed Jiang Yuan earlier, urging him to drink. Jiang Yuan had a favorable impression of him, recalling him as a bright and helpful friend from their school days. Yi Ming continued, I'm currently employed at Jiyuan Game Company in Nanjing, serving as the technical director. He emphasized the title technical director with a noticeable weight in his tone, making the statement rhythmically engaging. Upon hearing this position, many young individuals visibly changed expressions. For those of their age, securing a role in a technical field often meant settling for a mid-level technician, while senior technicians were exceedingly rare. The position of technical director is one that can only be held by individuals possessing remarkable talent and unwavering diligence at such a young age. Their remuneration starkly surpasses that of their peers. Even the most junior technical directors are highly sought after by numerous companies, with salaries starting at no less than $50,000. This time, I intend to donate $100,000 to support the construction of a Hope Elementary School in my hometown, Yi Ming declared. A sum of $100,000 is indeed impressive. Many elders present regarded him with admiration. Old Ye's son has truly made something of himself. He has such a significant amount to give away. $100,000, an amount that equates to the annual salary of many. You don't understand. This young man works exceedingly hard. The position of technical director is prestigious, with a salary that is significantly higher than that of an ordinary individual. My child informed me that typically, only those with over 10 years of experience can attain such a title. Yi Ming's achievements were indeed remarkable. Others often attain this position in their 30s, yet he has accomplished it in his 20s. A promising future awaits him. Listening to the discussions around him, Yi Ming felt a surge of pride. He even cast a glance in the direction of Lu Shishir, hoping to capture the attention of the beauty. Unfortunately, Lu Shishir was engrossed in conversation with Jiang Yuan's mother and did not spare him a glance. Disappointed, he descended from the stage. Yi Ming's leadership undoubtedly invigorated the atmosphere of the event. Subsequently, several other young individuals, inspired by his spirit of competition, joined the ranks of those preparing to take the stage. They regarded Yi Ming with disdain. So what if he is a tech guy? What's the big deal? He is just a worker, merely fooling the elders. $50,000 a month? I could earn that with a single deal. The next to take the stage was a pair of identical twin brothers, their resemblance astonishingly alike, both in appearance and physique. Unless one was intimately familiar with them, distinguishing between the two would be nearly impossible. They were the Lin brothers, who had established a chain of restaurants together in recent years and were rumored to possess assets exceeding 10 million, quite affluent. Following their presentation, Zhao Tianming adjusted his appearance slightly. It would soon be his turn. However, as he glanced around, he noted the absence of Jiang Yuan. Is Xiao Yuan not even participating in a charitable event for the hometown? Zhao Tianming furrowed his brow. Perhaps he was overly concerned with his image, reluctant to admit he was a courier in front of so many. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan sat casually in a corner, observing. The elders around him shook their heads in dismay, feeling a mix of sorrow and helplessness. Among the younger generation, some had become directors, others had founded companies, and some had risen to vice presidents. Yet, here was Jiang Yuan, once the brightest of his peers, now reduced to this state. Alas, a real-life tale reminiscent of the story of Zhang Zhongyong. What does it matter if one was exceptionally clever in their youth, when they now find themselves merely an ordinary courier? This Jiang Yuan is truly outrageous. Even if he is too miserly to contribute, he should not simply stand idly by as a mere spectator. Chapter 103. I am the Vice President. Donating 10 million at the podium of a charitable event, the twin brothers from the Lin family eloquently recounted their entrepreneurial journey. Subsequently, they announced their donation amount. After deliberation, we reached a consensus to contribute 500,000 to aid in the construction of schools in our hometown. The brothers spoke in unison. 500,000. The mere utterance of this figure startled many young attendees. For those who were slightly better off, their salaries barely exceeded 10,000. This sum was equivalent to several years' worth of their earnings. Yet, such a significant amount was pledged without hesitation. Truly, these brothers are remarkable. Compared to the previous technical director, who had hesitated and only donated 50,000, the brothers' generosity stood in stark contrast. Their contribution was a staggering tenfold difference. Indeed, they're the epitome of entrepreneurial success, impressing even the elder attendees who cast admiring glances at the twins. To claim 500,000 so readily speaks volumes about their total assets, perhaps surpassing the rumored 30 million. The village elder felt a sense of pride for these accomplished young men. Throughout the gathering fortune hall, applause erupted in enthusiastic waves, resonating continuously. Many young people gazed at the Lin brothers with admiration, reveling in a limelight akin to celestial bodies surrounded by stars. The brothers felt a delightful sense of elevation, particularly as most of the audience comprised their peers and familiar elders. The accolades and admiration from these individuals were immensely gratifying. This sensation was exhilarating. Even numerous young women cast them admiring glances, an unmistakable indication of interest. However, the allure of such superficial attention felt somewhat lacking in challenge. The Lin brothers' primary focus remained on the most enchanting goddess present, Lu Shishir. Even a slight acknowledgement from her would be a notable achievement. Regrettably, despite their generous donation, it seemed insufficient to capture her attention. Lu Shishir appeared engrossed in conversation with Jiang Yuan's mother, seemingly indifferent to the commotion around her. The brothers felt a hint of disappointment. As Zhao Tianming rose from his seat and approached them, the brothers immediately composed themselves, nodding politely in respect. Zhao's stature far surpassed theirs. In Nancheng, almost no one was unaware of Tianqi Game Company. As a rising star in recent years, the company had released several high-quality games, generating remarkably impressive monthly revenues. According to the latest financial report, Tianqi's quarterly net profit reached an astounding 100 billion, making the term money printing machine seem an understatement. As the vice president of the company, Zhao Tianming wields nearly absolute power, including substantial financial authority. His worth has likely surpassed several hundred million. Furthermore, the potential for growth in the coming years remains immense. To stand on the same stage as Zhao Tianming is already a privilege in itself. The moment he stepped onto the platform, an immediate hush fell over the crowd. His peers gazed at him with expressions rich in complexity, a blend of admiration and envy, but predominantly a profound sense of helplessness. At just over 20 years of age, Zhao Tianming has achieved a level that many might find utterly unattainable even after 2 decades of relentless struggle. The status and position of being the vice president of a leading domestic company completely overshadow his contemporaries. The elders around could not help but cast envious glances at Zhao Tianming's parents, marveling at the prodigious talent they had raised. Upon taking the stage, Zhao Tianming wasted no time on superfluous remarks. He disdained formalities. He simply introduced himself and acknowledged his title as vice president before revealing his donation. I am willing to contribute 10 million to support the development of my hometown. His understated declaration sent ripples of astonishment through the audience. 10 million. The crowd erupted in fervent whispers, struggling to contain their astonishment. How could he be so generous? After all, he is the vice president. His perspective is simply on another level. It is astonishing. He is barely in his 20s and already possesses such wealth. His future is undoubtedly boundless. Praise, admiration, and reverence echoed throughout the hall. Zhao Tianming surveyed the surroundings with an unmatched poise. Yet, amidst the accolades, what truly preoccupied him was whether Lu Shishir would cast a glance in his direction. Regrettably, she seemed utterly indifferent to the figure of 10 million, as if it held no significance for her at all. Zhao Tianming inwardly mocked himself. Perhaps this amount is far too trivial to capture her attention. However, this sentiment lasted but a moment before he turned his gaze toward Jiang Yuan. He was prepared to receive the adoration and submission he anticipated from Jiang Yuan and to extend an olive branch, inviting him to join his ranks. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yuan's expression remained calm, akin to a tranquil pond, undisturbed even by the mention of 10 million. Something feels amiss with Xiao Yuan, Zhao Tianming pondered, a hint of confusion creeping in. Is he merely feigning composure? At that moment, the Luo brothers, accompanied by their mother, arrived at the gathering. Upon noticing the charitable platform, the old village chief, and Jiang Yuan nearby, they swiftly approached Jiang Yuan. What? The esteemed Jiang Yuan is making a donation? Then we shall contribute as well. The Luo brothers immediately declared, we will match whatever amount Boss Jiang donates. Jiang Yuan rolled his eyes and replied, I intend to donate 300 million. Are you in? What? The Luo brothers were utterly astonished. The announcement of Jiang Yuan's intention to donate such a staggering sum resonated like a thunderclap in their ears. Boss Jiang, are you serious? Surely, that's unnecessary, such a vast amount of money. Observing the brothers' expressions, Jiang Yuan shook his head. He then stepped toward the charity platform, drawing curious glances from the crowd. People wondered what Jiang Yuan was up to. Was he merely intent on putting on a show, perhaps donating a few hundred as a token gesture? To their shock, Jiang Yuan boldly declared, I am a courier, and I will donate 300 million. Chapter 104. I am a courier, donating 300 million. Many young individuals were instantly struck with a chill upon hearing the news. What? I'm a courier, preparing to donate 300 million. This seemingly simple statement from Jiang Yuan sent numerous young people into a frenzy. Their initial reaction was one of disbelief, followed by a wave of astonishment and utter incredulity. Surely, Brother Yuan must have been intoxicated and boasting on stage, right? It was inconceivable. Jiang Yuan was not one to exaggerate, and he had not consumed much alcohol. His tolerance was exceptional, and he appeared entirely lucid. How could the gentle Jiang Yuan possibly utter such a thing in jest? He was serious. Having grown up together, they were well aware of Jiang Yuan's character. He was a man of his word, never one to boast. Once a gentleman speaks, even a team of horses cannot retract it. Word from Jiang Yuan could not be fabricated. However, the notion of donating 300 million would be more believable if it had come from Zhao Tianming. But Jiang Yuan, merely a courier, even if he were sold, he could scarcely gather 300 million. If delivering packages could yield such wealth, they would all be couriers too. In that moment, a tapestry of shock, confusion, and bewilderment enveloped Jiang Yuan. Having shared their childhood with him, the trust they held in Jiang Yuan was absolute. Yet, this matter was indeed absurd. 300 million. Such an amount was unattainable for countless individuals over a lifetime. Could Jiang Yuan genuinely possess such wealth? What scheme was he concocting? Could he have won the lottery? Zhao Tianming was equally taken aback. But soon his mind wandered to Jiang Yuan's exceptional driving skills and his remarkable Twitter following. Could it be that Jiang Yuan was an underground racer, amassing a fortune? The more he contemplated, the more plausible this theory seemed. Yet, Zhao Tianming struggled to accept such a reality. The life of an underground racer was perilous, akin to earning a living with one's life on the line. Although the rewards were substantial, the lifespan of such individuals was often tragically brief. If this were true, then the supposed donation was indeed blood money. This seemed a rather rational explanation. Anxiousness welled up within Zhao Tianming as he yearned for a private conversation with Jiang Yuan. In stark contrast to the young people's astonishment, the elders erupted in boisterous laughter. Their mirth was unrestrained, seemingly indifferent to Jiang Yuan's potential awareness of their mockery. Or perhaps they intended to deride him. A courier capable of donating 300 million? Surely, Jiang Yuan must have sustained a blow to the head while delivering packages. If he could genuinely donate such an amount, then I would donate 3 billion, no, 30 billion. One elder even jested, pointing at a succulent roasted pig, exclaiming, if a courier can donate 300 million, I shall perform a feat of devouring this entire pig in one go. This is what you promised. You must not go back on your word. I shall not retract my statement. If he can indeed muster 300 million to donate, what is it to me to perform a comedic act with a pig? Jiang Yuan's mother was taken aback, momentarily at a loss. 300 million? Is he jesting? This is no laughing matter. In an instant, she felt somewhat bewildered. Lu Shishir's eyes sparkled with a peculiar light. Jiang Yuan, it seems, is not as simple as he appears. All eyes were fixed intently on Jiang Yuan's face. Confronted with their skepticism, Jiang Yuan remained composed and earnestly proclaimed, "Dear friends, you may be surprised, but allow me to share my thoughts. From a young age, I have harbored a passion for antiques, secretly studying their history without my family's knowledge. Over the past few years, fortune smiled upon me. By a twist of fate, I acquired a valuable ancient manuscript. Recently, a wealthy merchant purchased this manuscript, which has granted me some financial means. However, I firmly believe that this money ought to be utilized to pave the way for the children of my hometown. Once, I too was a lost child in Qinghe Township. Without the educational support from my hometown, how could I have ventured into the larger cities? Thus, I have decided to donate the entire sum of 300 million. The audience, upon hearing Jiang Yuan's remarks, displayed expressions of sudden clarity. This explanation was indeed plausible. After all, the world is not devoid of affluent individuals who harbor a passion for collecting antiques. There have been instances of fortunate individuals striking it rich overnight through serendipitous finds. Could Jiang Yuan be one of them? Yet, he intends to donate it all. Jiang Yuan's words resonated with a powerful cadence, imbued with sincere emotion that could evoke tears. His act of donating 300 million was portrayed as both selfless and courageous. Although he was aware that with a stroke of good fortune, he might only recoup his investment, the sheer number of people present necessitated a few grandiloquent words. This was not excessive, was it? Unexpectedly, Jiang Yuan's earnest speech resonated deeply with many. Who would have thought that Jiang Yuan possessed such capability? Remaining true to his roots, choosing not to indulge in personal pleasures, but instead contemplating the development of his hometown, his sentiments were profound. Without the schools of our homeland, we might forever remain in the countryside. Jiang Yuan's level of awareness was remarkably high. The impact of his words exceeded even his own expectations. In an instant, his peers felt a twinge of shame, and in their gazes towards Jiang Yuan, a sense of genuine respect began to emerge. Yet, the most awkward moment was undoubtedly for the elders who had just mocked him. Did you not claim that upon Jiang Yuan donating 300 million, you would contribute 3 billion or even 30 billion? I was merely jesting, just joking. And you, did you not say that if Jiang Yuan truly possessed 300 million, you would perform a dance of 3 mouths and a pig? I was just speaking offhand. Please do not take it seriously. In an instant, many elders erupted into laughter, their faces displaying an unmistakable embarrassment. However, Jiang Yuan chose not to dwell too much on their reactions. After all, if age were to validate everything, the most remarkable place in the world might well be a nursing home. Chapter 105. Do I still have a chance? Is it possible to stumble upon a priceless antique while delivering packages? Had I known, I would have joined the courier service. Brother Jiang Yuan, take me along. I too wish to deliver packages. You might as well forget it. Jiang Yuan possesses exceptional talent. If it were you, you would fail to recognize a precious treasure right before your eyes. Regardless, I am determined to follow Brother Jiang Yuan. He is truly remarkable. Take me with you. Jiang Yuan's impassioned and somewhat nonsensical rhetoric captivated many. His performance was so compelling that it stirred the emotions of his audience. The atmosphere was undeniably charged. Moreover, the charm of the handsome emperor Yin lent an added weight to his words, as it is a well-known stereotype that those of striking appearance often wield significant persuasive power. The tale of fortuitously discovering an antique and selling it for a handsome sum, with intentions to donate a substantial amount to his hometown, was nothing short of legendary, and it instantly reshaped the perceptions of many. The shock factor surged like a tidal wave. Ding. Shot points 500 ding. Shot points 500 ding. Shot points 500 ding. Shot points 500 ding. Shot points 500. A faint smile graced Jiang Yuan's lips. This was precisely the desired effect. The most awkward individuals present were undoubtedly the elders who had just criticized him. Their disparaging remarks about his lack of ambition echoed in the air. Their motivations stemmed partly from disappointment and partly from a misguided sense of superiority due to age. Among the younger generation, Jiang Yuan had been rather average, but there were many others in similar circumstances. The truly successful youth were a rarity. Yet, they fixated on Jiang Yuan, likely stemming from past envy when he had shone so brightly. Handsome and academically gifted, effortlessly surpassing his peers. The bitter taste of jealousy lingered. Now that he appeared less accomplished than his juniors, it was only natural for them to revel in his downfall. However, the revelation of Jiang Yuan's intention to donate 300 million changed the narrative entirely. Even a fool could discern that Jiang Yuan would not part with all his earnings. He must have retained a substantial sum for himself. Moreover, should he possess genuine expertise in antique appraisal, it was conceivable that he might uncover more treasures in the future. With a profitable sale on the horizon, his financial prospects appeared exceedingly bright. In light of this, the elders exchanged knowing glances, their unspoken understanding palpable. Jiang Yuan, though a courier, had proven that one's profession does not preclude a promising future. What is wrong with being a courier? Is it not a respectable profession? Every vocation deserves our respect and equitable treatment. Furthermore, I find this occupation to be exceedingly arduous. Since Jiang Yuan has returned so infrequently, we must extend him our warmest hospitality. The elders, seasoned in years, bore a thick skin. As the conversation shifted, it became remarkably swift. The passers-by around could not help but reveal expressions of disdain. This group seemed to be opportunistic, easily swayed by the prevailing winds. The loudest critic of Jiang Yuan had been a rather rotund gentleman named Qian. Yet now, Uncle Qian wore a broad smile as he took his daughter by the hand and approached Jiang Yuan's mother. "Madam Jiang, allow me to introduce my daughter, Qian Xiaotong," he said. "She is 21 years old, just graduated from Xiamen University of Technology, and currently works as an accountant at a large corporation." The title Madam Jiang took Jiang Yuan's mother by surprise. However, before she could ponder further, her attention was immediately captured by Uncle Qian's granddaughter, a young girl with ruby lips and pearly teeth, exuding grace and elegance. Her features were delicate and well-defined, with cherry-shaped lips and willow-like brows, styled with blunt bangs. She possessed a gentle and demure demeanor, the kind that typically endears her to elders. Yet, Jiang Yuan's mother hesitated and asked, "What do you mean?" Uncle Qian, straightforward as ever, replied, "Look at your son, Jiang Yuan. He is of an age, and yet unmarried. My daughter is also single. Perhaps we can introduce them." An arranged meeting. Uncle Qian was clearly intent on introducing his precious daughter to Jiang Yuan. The onlookers stifled their laughter. Just moments ago, it was Uncle Qian who had been the most vocal in belittling Jiang Yuan. However, upon witnessing Jiang Yuan's extraordinary qualities, Uncle Qian's attitude shifted dramatically, leading him to seek out Jiang Yuan's mother to facilitate a connection, a matchmaking endeavor. Upon hearing her father's intentions, Qian Xiaotong felt a flush of embarrassment, her cheeks reddening. The handsome Jiang Yuan was irresistible to any woman, especially now that he had showcased his remarkable talents. With the combination of being both a charming figure and a financial prodigy, he was undeniably alluring. Yet, when her gaze fell upon Lu Shishir, a wave of insecurity washed over her. This woman was breathtakingly beautiful, possessing an astonishing allure that was hard to rival. If Lu Shishir and Jiang Yuan shared a romantic connection, she felt her chances would be utterly diminished. Realizing this, Qian Xiaotong's expression shifted slightly as she lowered her voice to her father, saying, "Dad, look at that stunning woman over there. Do I stand a chance?" Uncle Qian, feeling helpless, encouraged her, "Have confidence. Give it your all. Perhaps fortune will smile upon you. Seize the opportunity." Qian Xiaotong was momentarily taken aback as she noticed several other pairs of fathers and daughters had appeared behind her, all evidently seeking an audience with Jiang Yuan's mother. "Madam Jiang, this is my daughter Zhao Xiaoqing, who is still in university. Would you consider introducing her to Jiang Yuan?" Another father proposed. "And this is my daughter Lu Wan, who is eager to speak with Jiang Yuan. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting?" Yet another chimed in. "This is my daughter Li Wenxiu, who graduated 2 years ago and is now a yoga instructor. I believe she would be quite compatible with Jiang Yuan." Suddenly, the number of suitors seeking to court Jiang Yuan's mother surged. After all, Jiang Yuan had become an enigmatic figure of wealth. His willingness to donate 300 million indicated that the fortune he truly possessed was undoubtedly greater than that sum. Consequently, the precise amount of his wealth became a matter of intrigue for nearly everyone. Moreover, which woman could resist the allure of such a captivating figure? In an instant, Jiang Yuan transformed into an exceedingly coveted prospect. Yet, this was the first time his mother encountered such a phenomenon, leaving her somewhat astonished. Previously, when she endeavored to arrange blind dates for Jiang Yuan, it required extensive networking. After much effort, she would finally manage to find a single individual willing to meet him. However, now, thanks to Jiang Yuan's modest revelation, numerous families lined up to present their daughters as potential matches. It was akin to the ancient practice of an emperor selecting consorts, with candidates standing in a row, ready for selection. My goodness, the contrast was truly staggering. Chapter 106. The astonished Zhao Tianming, however. Jiang Yuan's mother cast a glance at Lu Shishir beside her and promptly stated, "This matter ultimately depends on Jiang Yuan's wishes." My words hold no weight. Upon hearing this, everyone immediately set off with their daughters in search of Jiang Yuan. Yet, unbeknownst to them, Jiang Yuan had already slipped away from their sight. At this moment, Jiang Yuan had quietly stepped outside with Zhao Tianming to reminisce in solitude. The sky stretched infinitely blue above them, a purity of color unlike that of the bustling metropolis, devoid of any impurities, much like a friendship untainted by ulterior motives. The two walked along a rural path, their spirits elevated. Zhao Tianming, walking alongside Jiang Yuan, burst into laughter, exclaiming, "Xiao Yuan, I never anticipated you would find yourself in such circumstances. It's truly perplexing." Jiang Yuan shook his head, modestly attributing it to mere luck. Zhao Tianming, however, clapped him heartily on the shoulder, his expression turning earnest as he proposed, "Xiao Yuan, why not consider working with me in the future? With me by your side, we can achieve great things together as brothers." Upon hearing Zhao Tianming's words, Jiang Yuan fell into contemplation. A direct refusal would certainly be ill-received, as it would cast a shadow on their camaraderie. Yet the thought of laboring alongside his brother was less appealing. His current life was one of leisure and satisfaction, wealth, a home, luxury cars, and beautiful companions, all his desires fulfilled. Why strive and toil further? The thought of being a carefree, happy individual was far more enticing. In an instant, Jiang Yuan conjured several polite refusals and excuses in his mind. Unexpectedly, Zhao Tianming seemed to have sensed his hesitation and said, "Don't be too hasty in rejecting me. Once the ancestral worship ceremony concludes in a few days, could you provide me with your answer then?" His words carried an intriguing subtext, suggesting that once the ceremony was over, Jiang Yuan would be unlikely to decline his invitation to join his team. A flicker of interest stirred within Jiang Yuan. The ancestral worship ceremony was an annual tradition, typically attended by notable figures, aimed at attracting fortune. The more esteemed the guests, the more extraordinary luck they were believed to bring to Qinghe Township. Although Jiang Yuan held such beliefs in disdain, he recognized that nearly everyone around him adhered to this ancestral custom. Yet, despite the existence of this tradition, Qinghe Township could at most attract a few ordinary, moderately affluent businessmen. The more prominent individuals would naturally overlook such a small locale. However, Zhao Tianming's demeanor suggested he might have invited someone extraordinary. As Jiang Yuan pondered, he thought, perhaps I should invite a few acquaintances to join as well. Upon reflection, he realized he indeed knew many people. Bringing a few along to bolster their presence could be a wise choice. The two continued their pleasant conversation, strolling leisurely until the oppressive heat drove them back to Jiang Yuan's air-conditioned Fei 2A Te 500 for respite. Yet, the moment Zhao Tianming entered the vehicle, his peripheral vision caught sight of something astonishing that left him utterly astounded. A dazzling diamond watch, glimmering with a brilliant sheen, instantly captured his attention. "Xiao Yuan, is this watch yours?" Zhao Tianming exclaimed in astonishment. This was a Graf diamond watch, a one-of-a-kind limited edition, about which I had heard whispers. Its value was no less than $1 billion. As the vice president of a prominent company, Zhao Tianming had traversed the world over the years, becoming acquainted with numerous gem collectors. His discerning eye for luxury items was in a league beyond that of the average person. It is no exaggeration to say that Zhao Tianming's gaze was akin to that of a mirror revealing the truth. Jiang Yuan pondered briefly, sensing that Zhao Tianming was not as easily deceived as Lu Mengming. Even if he claimed it to be a mere toy, Zhao Tianming would likely remain skeptical. Just as Jiang Yuan contemplated how to respond, Zhao Tianming, with a countenance of profound indignation, urged him to remain silent. "Never mind, I understand everything. You need not say more. I have surmised the situation." Jiang Yuan was taken aback. "I haven't said anything yet. What do you think you know?" In truth, Zhao Tianming's heart was shattering. The presence of such a lavish item, valued at $1 billion, in Jiang Yuan's possession could only imply one thing. Jiang Yuan had likely become involved with Lu Shishir, the epitome of wealth and beauty. This Graf diamond watch was evidently a gift from Lu Shishir to Jiang Yuan. Zhao Tianming's imagination ran wild, envisioning the romantic escapades that might have unfolded between Jiang Yuan and Lu Shishir in his absence. The more he contemplated, the more his indignation swelled, rendering him speechless. After all, it was he who had harbored a crush on Lu Shishir since childhood. How had it come to pass that she ended up with Jiang Yuan? Yet, Upon further reflection, it seemed all too logical. With Jiang Yuan's striking looks, it was no wonder that any woman would be drawn to him. Zhao Tianming felt a wave of sorrow wash over him, tears almost welling in his eyes. However, he suppressed his emotions and declared, "I'm feeling a bit tired. I'll take a nap in your car. Please do not disturb me." Jiang Yuan was bewildered. He sensed that Zhao Tianming had misconstrued something, and he bore a visibly distressed expression. Yet, he decided to let him be. He had matters of his own to attend to. Earlier, at Zhifilu, he had seemingly accumulated a substantial amount of points. He wondered what he could redeem. With a decisive thought, Jiang Yuan immersed his consciousness into the system space. He promptly exchanged all the points he had amassed over these days for blind boxes. Remaining points, 9105, that amounted to over 90 draws. With such an abundance of opportunities, he might uncover some precious skills or exceedingly rare rewards. A sense of anticipation enveloped him. Eagerly, Jiang Yuan traced his right index finger over 10 blind boxes. Ding! This time, fortune seemed to smile upon him. A vivid, rainbow-hued flame erupted, illuminating his face with a dazzling golden glow. Reward, 1 million yuan. Reward, 1 million yuan. Reward, 10 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 million yuan. Critical reward, a limited edition motorcycle by Marcus. Note, one of the fastest motorcycles in the world, designed with the principles, technology, and materials of F1 racing, enhancing aerodynamic efficiency while significantly reducing the weight of the vehicle, achieving a maximum speed of 380 kilometers per hour. All materials are handcrafted, with only 3 units produced globally, valued at approximately 1.2 billion yuan. 1 gold, 7 blue, and 2 white. The total amounts to 72 million yuan. However, this sum of money is of little consequence. Jiang Yuan's eyes sparkled with delight as he gazed upon the golden reward, feeling immensely satisfied. Chapter 107. The fortuitous lottery. Jiang Yuan's eyes sparkled with excitement as he meticulously observed the striking and stylish motorcycle before him. Its body was a deep, lustrous black, the metallic sheen reflecting dazzling light. The streamlined design harmoniously melded aesthetics with practicality, exuding an aura of flair, trendiness, and charm. Wow, this is a motorcycle with a mech-like appearance that no man could possibly resist, Jiang Yuan mused, marveling at the sight. The essence of manhood remains youthful until the end. Indeed, no man could turn down such an impressive machine. Just at first glance, he was utterly captivated by this limited edition Marcus model. Envisioning himself riding it freely along the open road, wind in his hair, atop this magnificent beast of a motorcycle, as the scenery whizzed past in a blur. It felt exhilarating and immensely pleasurable. Today, as fortune had begun splendidly, and Jiang Yuan smiled in satisfaction. He still had numerous opportunities for 10 consecutive draws. This was merely the first appetizer. Anticipation and excitement coursed through him as he rubbed his hands together. With a swift motion of his right hand, he decisively swiped, unveiling 10 blind boxes. Bang, bang, bang. A burst of rainbow-hued brilliance erupted once more, illuminating Jiang Yuan's pupils in a dazzling display. His luck today, indeed, had not disappointed him. The next round of 10 consecutive draws yielded remarkable rewards. Beautiful! What delightful treasures await this time! He exclaimed joyfully. Reward, 1 million yuan. Reward, 1 million yuan. Reward, 10 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 million yuan. Critical reward, 70 shares in Apocalypse Media Company. Critical reward, a colossal luxury cruise ship. To his astonishment, he had struck gold once more. How fortunate! Upon closer inspection, the rewards were indeed formidable. Jiang Yuan was astounded. Apocalypse Media Company, the rising stars of the entertainment industry, Tang Xinshin, Sun Yunch, Ouyang Shooting, and Zhou Yu, 3 of whom hailed from this very company. This media powerhouse boasted an abundance of talented composers and lyricists. Each quarter's newcomer, Song Deity, and Song Queen awards were predominantly claimed by the gifted creators affiliated with this company. And this was merely in the realm of music. Almost all emerging actresses had been nurtured by this single agency, which tightly controlled the entertainment resources. Jiang Yuan had often heard of this company's interviews on television and online long ago. Not only was it filled with stunning beauties, but it also housed numerous goddesses endowed with both talent and beauty. Particularly those engaged in the arts possessed a uniquely intellectual aura. Goodness, there was a time when Jiang Yuan even contemplated joining this company. Alas, his aspirations had remained unfulfilled. Unexpectedly, by a fortunate twist of fate, I have acquired a substantial stake in this company today, thereby assuming the role of leader among these individuals. The shares of this media company, if offered to the public, would likely fetch an astronomical price that could scarcely be attained. For once one possesses such a media company, it signifies that a significant portion of the entertainment industry is firmly within one's grasp. Who reaps the greatest rewards from a classic television series, a film, or a song? Typically, according to contractual agreements, the company retains a staggering 80% of the profits, leaving a mere 20% to be shared among the artists and songwriters. In essence, as long as Jiang Yuan remains passive, merely observing as these individuals craft songs and produce films, the lion's share of the profits will flow to him. Royalties and agency fees each day, countless banknotes will cascade into his coffers. It is a most delightful and refreshing scenario. Moreover, the four emerging songstresses are all exceptionally gifted and striking in appearance. Each possesses unparalleled talent and extraordinary abilities, with looks that rival the four renowned beauties of antiquity. Some are enchanting and graceful, while others embody youthful radiance or captivating allure. Now, Jiang Yuan has directly become their superior, wielding the utmost authority to direct them. This sensation is rather pleasing. Jiang Yuan feels a surge of satisfaction. He cannot help but think of visiting Xiamen after this ancestral ceremony concludes. Eager to witness firsthand how diligently his female artists work to generate income for him, he muses on this thought. Additionally, another large cruise ship piques his interest. The ocean's abundance and beauty possess their own allure. However, there is no rush. Continuing with the lottery, Jiang Yuan once again selects 10 blind boxes. Ding! Blue skies and white clouds, a series of 10, all yielding ordinary monetary rewards. Quite standard, he steadies his mindset. Taking a deep breath, Jiang Yuan strives to calm his emotions. He proceeds with another round of 10, and, as anticipated, rewards soon materialize. Reward: 1 million yuan. Reward: 1 million yuan. Reward: 1 million yuan. Reward: 1 million yuan. Reward: 10 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 million yuan. Critical reward. Director of Xiamen Luoka Law Firm. Luoka Law Firm? Jiang Yuan finds himself somewhat puzzled. He has little knowledge of this law firm, having never engaged in related fields. Moreover, why the title of director? Jiang Yuan scratches his head, retrieves his phone, and conducts an inquiry, soon discovering that the head of a law firm is indeed referred to as the director. This should prove useful, he speculates. If, in the future, he encounters an unscrupulous individual attempting to exploit him, he can simply dispatch someone to litigate against him and ensure he faces dire consequences. The allure of the position held by the head of the law firm pales in comparison to the enticing shares of the media company, adorned with breathtaking beauty. However, what he remains oblivious to is the law firm's unparalleled stature and significance in Xiamen, which could be likened to a weight as heavy as Mount Tai. In Xiamen, the Luoka law firm is also famously known as the Eternal Victorious Firm. The possibility of defeat is virtually non-existent in cases handled by this esteemed institution. Invincible in battle and undefeated in offense, this law firm has weathered countless storms without a single loss. It boasts an extraordinary team of lawyers, whose credentials and experience are nothing short of exceptional. The legal team under this firm wields immense influence in Xiamen, to the extent that their reach seems to cover the sky. Numerous external parties have attempted to acquire this law firm, seeking dominion over its formidable legal team. For once in possession, not only would they reap substantial profits from the enormous fees associated with litigation, but even the most convoluted cases could be resolved with the assistance of this legal team, breathing life into the seemingly lifeless. It is indeed a display of audacity and dominance. Chapter 108. The Little Stock God's Bountiful Harvest. Jiang Yuan's eyes sparkled with excitement. The shares of the Apocalypse Prosperity Media Company were already an invaluable treasure. He could hardly contain his eagerness to visit Xiqing and meet those renowned songstresses and actresses, all of whom were his subordinates. They held a lofty status in front of the screen, adored and revered by countless admirers. Yet before him, they would have to lower their heads in deference. How he looked forward to it. With a sense of satisfaction, Jiang Yuan swiftly completed the remaining 10 draws. As for the blue and white monetary rewards, he had grown indifferent to them. The quarterly earnings from the Fitzcarlton restaurant and Yuanmei company were already sufficient to allow him to spend extravagantly. He still recalled the content of the earnings notification from the previous quarter. Dear Mr. Jiang Yuan, a transfer of 700, 500, 100 renminbi has been initiated from your Longxing account ending in 9527. Please check your account. This message does not serve as a receipt. Note, Longhua Bank. This was merely the earnings from the Fitzcarlton restaurant. The profits from Yuanmei Game Company were even higher, though they had yet to be credited. But that was only a matter of days. Moreover, there were the latest quarterly earnings from Apocalypse Prosperity, a veritable treasure trove within the entertainment industry. As a leading media company, the returns would undoubtedly exceed his expectations. Jiang Yuan's gaze was fixed upon the golden rewards. Critical reward. Heinz Crystal Piano. Note, an exquisite piano entirely made of crystal, once played by the world's foremost pianist, valued at 2 billion. Critical reward. Moonlight Star High Heels. Note, a masterpiece designed by a renowned designer from Yicheng, reputed to be the highest quality high heels in the world, estimated value around 1 billion. Critical reward. Antilla Villa. Note, a premier luxury residence located in the heart of Xiqing, valued at 2 billion. Critical reward. Aurora Diamond Fountain Pen. Note, a commemorative pen marking the centenary of Aurora, valued at 700 million. Jiang Yuan smiled contentedly. In the following days, he enjoyed a delightful vacation in Qinghe Township. Fishing, sipping wine, and spending time with family, he occasionally flirted and played with Lu Shishir. Life was exceedingly pleasant, a brief respite from the hustle and bustle. After all, what is life but a pursuit of comfort and freedom? Jiang Yuan took this opportunity to unwind from the stresses of recent days. Unbeknownst to him, the ancestral worship ceremony was swiftly approaching. This was a rather solemn affair. Led by the village elder, the older generation donned ceremonial attire, paying their respects to a pearl the size of a pigeon's egg. From a distance, Jiang Yuan observed the pearl, which resembled jade, yet also had the sheen of a smooth glass orb. He knew it to be the treasured heirloom of Qinghe Township, an unnamed pearl passed down through generations, possessing considerable value. This bead has been passed down for several centuries, its true nature remaining a mystery. I too am filled with curiosity. During each ancestral worship ceremony, the village elder and others bow before this bead with utmost reverence. Do you know anything about it? This is indeed a priceless treasure. It is rumored to be an artifact from the tumultuous times of ancient warfare. There have been instances where renowned experts were summoned to appraise it, and it is estimated to be worth at least several tens of millions. As Jiang Yuan listened, he couldn't help but chuckle inwardly. A mere bead valued at tens of millions seemed rather trivial in comparison. With a casual draw, he could acquire luxuries worth billions. However, as he gazed at the bead from afar, he sensed its extraordinary aura. Antiques from the Dragon Kingdom possess a profound historical gravitas. After all, this is our cultural heritage. In Jiang Yuan's eyes, no matter how high the value of foreign luxuries, they pale in comparison to the treasures of our own land. During the course of the ancestral worship ceremony, Zhao Tianming had yet to arrive, piquing Jiang Yuan's curiosity. Could it be that something of significant importance had delayed him? His doubts were soon alleviated. Approximately 7 minutes later, Zhao Tianming appeared, accompanied by a sharply dressed middle-aged man, whose piercing gaze exuded intensity. Tianming, you won't hold my tardiness against me, will you? The middle-aged man inquired. Not at all. Your presence here in our humble locale for this ceremony is already a great honor for us, Zhao Tianming replied with utmost respect. Upon hearing Zhao Tianming's words, the middle-aged man nodded with evident satisfaction, an air of pride and arrogance subtly emanating from him. Zhao Tianming proceeded to introduce him. Allow me to present Lu Qinghao, a prominent figure from the financial sector in Nanqing. You may refer to him as Master Lu. Upon hearing this name, many faces shifted dramatically. The Luo brothers couldn't help but express their astonishment. Jiang Yuan turned to them and asked, "Is this person truly remarkable?" The Luo brothers quickly smiled and replied, "In comparison to you, he may fall short, but he is known as the Little Stock God. In Nancheng, anyone involved in trading stocks is likely familiar with him." Little Stock God? Jiang Yuan couldn't suppress a smirk. The title was indeed flamboyant. In contrast to the Luo brothers' brief introduction, the other young attendees grew visibly agitated, particularly the Lin twins, whose eyes nearly bulged in disbelief. The Little Stock God had graced them with his presence. How did Zhao Tianming come to know such a figure? Historically, this Little Stock God had accurately predicted several significant bull and bear markets in the Dragon Kingdom. While others succumbed to greed, He remained unperturbed when others were fearful. He exhibited remarkable avarice. His prowess in the stock market is nothing short of extraordinary, with assets reportedly exceeding 10 billion, marking him as a true magnate. His predictions in the stock market are so precise that to outsiders, he resembles a deity. To his astonishment, he found himself in a quaint locale such as ours. The sudden arrival of the young prodigy instantly captivated the attention of nearly everyone present. Numerous young individuals eagerly approached him to extend their greetings, only to be met with indifference. Lu Qinghao's demeanor was not only haughty, but also somewhat reckless. He let out a slight snort, dismissing those youthful admirers. Were it not for the fact that Zhao Tianming had once saved his life, he would have had no inclination to grace such a remote and impoverished gathering. Yet, due to Zhao Tianming's persistent entreaties, he felt compelled to honor the request of his savior. Thus, he reluctantly made his appearance. Amidst the fervor of the youthful crowd, one individual remained utterly unmoved, Jiang Yuan. When Lu Qinghao cast a glance at Jiang Yuan's face, he couldn't help but murmur in surprise. This person, I feel as though I have encountered him somewhere before. Chapter 109. Allow me to educate you. Lu Qinghao furrowed his brow in contemplation. But after a brief moment, he shook his head dismissively. What kind of formidable figures could possibly emerge from such a remote village? They were likely mere facsimiles of noteworthy individuals. His demeanor exuded a palpable arrogance and sharpness, a young prodigy whose fame echoed far and wide. As the esteemed little stock god, he regarded the inhabitants of this quaint locale with palpable disdain. Around him, a growing throng of admirers congregated, including the Luo brothers and the previously mentioned Lin twins, who had already gathered near Lu Qinghao. Having long heard of the little stock god's illustrious reputation, they found that seeing him in person was indeed a revelation, his charisma undeniable. Master Lu, would you do us the honor of sharing a meal with us? Master, you have been renowned for quite some time. We would all relish the opportunity to converse with you. Amidst the substantial crowd, Lu Qinghao stood as the focal point, as if his status were unparalleled, commanding both respect and influence. Even the elders beamed with delight. According to custom, the more exceptional the invited guest, the more auspicious the ancestral worship ceremony would be. Lu Qinghao not only boasted a remarkable reputation, but also possessed considerable talent. Allowing their younger generations to follow in his footsteps promised boundless prospects. However, the old village chief felt a tinge of discontent towards this individual. The ancestral teachings warned that those who rely on their talents and become arrogant are not virtuous individuals. A person of great skill, if nurtured into a proud and disdainful character, is hardly commendable. In the face of a surrounding enthusiasm, Lu Qinghao remained silent, arms crossed defiantly. This posture clearly indicated his unwillingness to engage with these country folk. Yet, his disdainful demeanor did nothing to diminish the fervent flattery of those around him. After all, associating with such a figure was undoubtedly a stroke of fortune. The more talented a person, the more likely they are to possess a strong character. Rather than tempering their fawning remarks, the crowd's exuberance only intensified. Meanwhile, the Luo brothers exchanged knowing smiles, amused by the ignorance of these commoners who failed to recognize Jiang Yuan as the true powerhouse here. Instead of acknowledging Jiang Yuan, they sought to curry favor with Master Lu, missing the forest for the trees, as it were. Jiang Yuan, on the other hand, paid no heed to Lu Qinghao and walked directly to Zhao Tianming, frowning as he inquired, "Tianming, on such an important day, how could you arrive late? Not far off." The old village chief also felt a flicker of displeasure. The ancestral worship ceremony was a significant event, held once every few years in Qinghe Township. Zhao Tianming, known for his cautious and steady nature, should not have been tardy. As a standout among the younger generation of Qinghe Township, his failure to perform during such a critical moment was out of character. Faced with Jiang Yuan's question, Zhao Tianming could only manage a rueful smile, his mouth opening but words failing to escape. At that moment, the previously silent little stock god, Lu Qinghao, finally broke his silence. "Oh, Zhao Tianming is late because he was here to pick me up," Lu Qinghao remarked nonchalantly. "Such a rural gathering hardly warranted my early rising, did it? The once in several years ancestral ceremony, and yet he casually arrives late." The reason for his tardiness was merely to indulge in a leisurely slumber, and he exhibited an air of indifference, showing no regard for others. Jiang Yuan's expression darkened slightly. The arrogance of this individual was decidedly off-putting. Sensing the subtle tension in the room, Zhao Tianming hastily stepped in as a mediator. "Master Lu is typically quite busy with work, It is only natural that his rest time conflicts with ours. Let us be more understanding. Jiang Yuan, considering Zhao Tianming's position, merely responded with a soft acknowledgement, unwilling to expend further energy on the matter. Yet, Lu Qinghao grew increasingly displeased. What nonsense is this? I've already shown you enough courtesy by attending your rural gathering. And now, because I was a few minutes late, you all are making a fuss? You clearly do not regard me at all. His naturally petty disposition, compounded by years of unchallenged success, inflated his arrogance. Lu Qinghao's countenance shifted noticeably. Zhao Tianming, it seems I am not particularly welcome here, he remarked coolly. Perhaps I should take my leave. With that, he abruptly turned to depart. Oh, wait. The sudden announcement of his departure startled the younger attendees. Please don't rush off. We all welcome you here. Do stay a little longer. Zhao Tianming quickly grasped his arm, whispering, let's discuss this calmly. Lu Qinghao retorted coldly, then let this person apologize to me. As he spoke, he pointed an accusing finger at Jiang Yuan. This absurdity elicited a bemused reaction from Jiang Yuan, who found himself nearly laughing out loud. You arrive late and expect me to apologize? You truly hold yourself in high regard. He clutched his stomach, laughter almost bringing him to tears, shaking his finger in disbelief. You demand an apology for your own tardiness. Could you possibly explain how such a ludicrous request could escape your lips? It was evident to all present that, both in terms of sentiment and reason, it was Jiang Yuan who should not apologize. Yet, in this world, only a select few adhere to reason. For most, status and identity reign supreme. Lu Qinghao, with an air of haughtiness, replied, You young man, you clearly understand nothing. Very well. Today I shall be magnanimous and impart a lesson upon you. Pay attention. He pointed to himself, boasting, I am the renowned little stock god. With a career spanning 14 years and hardly a defeat, my assets countless. He then gestured towards Jiang Yuan, stating, And you are merely an insignificant country bumpkin. Therefore, it is only right that you apologize to me, without the need for any justification. The words were domineering and audacious, coupled with Lu Qinghao's formidable prowess. It indeed exuded a certain grandeur. The surrounding youth fell into a momentary silence before one of them finally spoke. Jiang Yuan, perhaps you should apologize to him. Master Lu has made a rare visit to our humble abode. It wouldn't be right to let him leave like this. Indeed, traversing such distances must be exhausting. Even Zhao Tianming's expression shifted markedly, and in a hushed tone, he implored Jiang Yuan, Xiao Yuan, this individual is truly remarkable. For your brother's sake, why not offer him a slight apology? Jiang Yuan let out a slow sigh and shook his head. Ultimately, it seemed that they were compelled to rely on strength. At that moment, a Ferrari arrived in Qinghe Township. A plump middle-aged man emerged from the vehicle, and upon spotting Jiang Yuan, he approached with a hearty laugh. Chapter 110. It all comes down to strength. The portly middle-aged man was none other than Manager Wang from the Ritz-Carlton restaurant. Mr. Jiang, I have heard of the joyous occasion in your hometown today, and I have specially brought a gift to extend my greetings. Manager Wang chuckled as he approached. In his hands, he held an exquisite gift box, seemingly filled with treasures of immeasurable worth, exuding an air of opulence. The sudden appearance of Manager Wang left those around him in a state of confusion. They did not recognize this rotund figure and were oblivious to his identity, questioning why he addressed Jiang Yuan as Mr. Jiang. However, the emblem of the Ferrari was universally acknowledged. It was a symbol of luxury that few could afford. The fact that a magnate driving such a vehicle was actually one of Jiang Yuan's subordinates astounded everyone, who gazed at Jiang Yuan in disbelief. Ding. Shot points 300 ding. Shot points 300 ding. Shot points 300 ding. Shot points 300 ding. Shot points 300. Could this truly be a mere courier with a stroke of good fortune? Jiang Yuan was undoubtedly concealing some pivotal information. Lu Qinghao's expression shifted upon seeing the Ferrari. This particular model, the limited edition Ferrari Sergio, was valued at no less than 30 million. How could this plump man be driving such a car? Lu Qinghao was enveloped in uncertainty. Furthermore, this man seemed to be the manager of the Ritz-Carlton restaurant. The Ritz-Carlton in Nan City was indeed a haven for the elite. Its quarterly revenue was staggering. To hold a significant position in such an establishment, one's assets would undoubtedly be comparable to his own. Although Lu Qinghao was known as a small stock god, he was, at his core, merely a retail investor. Despite his remarkable foresight and extraordinary luck, which allowed him to accurately predict market trends and profit handsomely, the notion of acquiring shares in an establishment as prestigious as the Ritz-Carlton was but a pipe dream. Manager Wang, on the other hand, was different. As a senior executive at the Ritz-Carlton, he surely possessed a substantial amount of shares. Just by virtue of those shares, Manager Wang could already stand on equal footing with Lu Qinghao. In the stock market, fortunes could fluctuate wildly, but for a tycoon in the realm of tangible assets, profits were almost guaranteed. Jiang Yuan regarded Manager Wang with a hint of surprise. Although he had indeed spoken with Manager Wang a few days prior regarding this matter and requested that a few individuals be sent over, he had not anticipated that Manager Wang would personally arrive, bearing what was evidently an expensive gift. This unexpected gesture took Jiang Yuan by surprise. With a sprightly demeanor, Manager Wang proudly waved the gift in his hand. As a seasoned veteran in the field, he was meticulous in all his endeavors, leaving no stone unturned. Moreover, this was a matter of direct communication from Jiang Yuan, and he dared not be negligent, keeping it firmly etched in his mind. After concluding his conversation with Jiang Yuan, he promptly instructed his subordinates to conduct a thorough investigation into the ancestral ceremony in Qinghe Township. Upon immediate realization of the significance of the matter at hand, he summoned all his energy and not only made the effort to attend in person, but also brought forth a cherished gift for Jiang Yuan. Mr. Jiang, this is a privately treasured Dalmore 62 vodka that I have specially brought today to enliven the festivities of your hometown gathering, Manager Wang respectfully proclaimed. As he spoke, he carefully extracted an exceptionally valuable bottle of fine liquor from its exquisite gift box. Lu Qinghao was momentarily taken aback upon seeing the bottle. Could this be the very wine hailed as the world's most ideal investment, which had once fetched an astronomical price of $46 million at an auction in New City? Gulping audibly, Lu Qinghao found it hard to believe. Such a rare wine, unless procured through exceedingly exclusive channels within the high-end dining industry, would be nearly impossible to obtain, even at double the price. And yet, to present such a wine as a gift, merely for the sake of a humble ancestral ceremony, Lu Qinghao felt utterly bewildered. Upon hearing that Manager Wang had brought a fine wine, Jiang Yuan nodded in acknowledgement. The ancestral ceremony indeed held a tradition of offering exquisite wines. It seemed that this young Wang had conducted some prior research, displaying commendable thoughtfulness. Jiang Yuan felt a sense of satisfaction and remarked, "Young Wang, you have shown great initiative. I shall speak to the other executives at the restaurant to assign you additional responsibilities." Upon hearing Jiang Yuan's assurance, Manager Wang was immediately filled with delight, his round face beaming with joy and success. However, Manager Wang's sudden appearance interrupted the standoff between Jiang Yuan and Lu Qinghao. Just moments ago, Lu Qinghao had been intent on delivering a lesson to Jiang Yuan. But with Manager Wang's timely arrival, Lu Qinghao hesitated, sensing that the situation had shifted. His initial assumption was straightforward. This was a rural area, populated by unsophisticated folk, whom he believed he could easily manipulate. Yet, even someone like Manager Wang had come bearing a grand gift. Could it be that this rural individual possessed some level of significance? Lu Qinghao took a deep breath, striving to calm his racing heart. Although Jiang Yuan seemed to have a certain background, he concluded that he need not be overly intimidated. Perhaps he could seek a graceful exit from this predicament, knowing that Zhao Tianming would surely support him. Sensing an odd shift in Jiang Yuan's demeanor, Lu Qinghao cleared his throat, contemplating a plausible excuse to withdraw. However, before he could utter a word, another figure arrived. A pink BMW, driven by a lady, had quietly parked in Qinghe Township. From the vehicle emerged a young woman clad in the attire of a modern office lady. Her figure was alluring, and her beauty captivating. She exuded a poised aura, her footsteps resonating with purpose. Yet, upon reaching Jiang Yuan, she lowered her proud head and respectfully addressed him, "Mr. Jiang, I have heard of the joyous occasion in your hometown today, and I have come to present you with a gift." Jiang Yuan nodded in acknowledgement. She was Yi Yuyao, the esteemed secretary of his company, Yuan Mei. Not only was she strikingly beautiful, but her figure was also nearly otherworldly in its perfection. The sight before him inevitably caused many young individuals to swallow hard. However, Zhao Tianming's expression changed dramatically. "Is this Secretary Yi from Yuan Mei Company?" Zhao Tianming was utterly astonished. Ding! Shot points 1,000. The gaming industry is inherently small, and especially for a leading domestic firm like Yuan Mei Company. Any employee from there is a coveted asset within the industry. Yuan Mei Company is a colossal entity that overwhelmingly surpasses his Tianqi gaming company. Yet, this Secretary Yi dares to address Jiang Yuan as Director Jiang. In that instant, Zhao Tianming could no longer maintain his composure and exclaimed, "Xiao Yuan, who on earth are you?" Chapter 111. The little stock god begins to panic. Only those truly immersed in the gaming industry can fully comprehend the formidable prowess of Yuanmei Game Company. With robust research and development capabilities and extensive promotional channels, it has cultivated a talent network that nearly dominates half of Longhua. One after another, exquisite games that balance quality and enjoyment have emerged from this company, receiving unanimous acclaim from players. As enthusiasm surged, the quarterly revenue had already surpassed a staggering 100 billion. This company operates akin to a money-printing machine, undeniably a leader in the industry. Even Zhao Tianming, who prides himself on his own achievements, cannot help but admire the formidable strength of this company's decision-makers. He is acutely aware that, regardless of how vigorous the momentum of his own Tianqi company may be, it pales in comparison to Yuanmei's stature. This is a universally acknowledged industry legend, a goal that Zhao Tianming aspires to reach. However, Zhao Tianming has recently discovered that his childhood friend Jiang Yuan possesses a rather unique status. To his astonishment, Jiang Yuan has considerable connections with this leading company. Such a revelation leaves him in a state of disbelief, beads of sweat gradually trickling down his forehead, his eyes filled with shock and surprise. Yet, Jiang Yuan does not respond immediately, but merely gazes at him quietly. Earlier, Zhao Tianming had urged Jiang Yuan to apologize to the arrogant little stock god Lu Qinghao, which left Jiang Yuan feeling somewhat disappointed. Zhao Tianming's uncharacteristic behavior has also piqued the curiosity of those around him, who cast puzzled glances between him and the stunningly attractive Secretary Yi. For a moment, they find themselves at a loss. Jiang Yuan, with a single hand, helps Secretary Yi to her feet, smiling as he reassures her there is no need for such formality. Yi Yuyao, feeling the support on her arm, promptly states, I have come specifically to present a gift to Director Jiang. I hope you will accept it. Jiang Yuan responds with interest, acknowledging the loyalty of his subordinates, who understand the significance of today's grand ceremony in their hometown. Moreover, Qinghe Township has a custom of inviting distinguished guests from outside to celebrate, making their gesture all the more considerate. What have you brought? He inquires. Please take a look. Yi Yao produces a delicately crafted square crystal box. Within it lies a collection of 10 cigarettes, each uniquely adorned with a fine diamond chain. The presentation is quite exquisite. Jiang Yuan smiles, for although he seldom smokes, he has never encountered such elegantly designed cigarettes. The crystal box filled with diamond chain cigars is indeed a sight to behold. Moreover, there are not merely one or two such boxes. From a distance, it appears that Yi Yuyao has prepared dozens of these crystal boxes for Jiang Yuan. Meanwhile, Lu Qinghao, upon catching sight of the crystal cigars, nearly has his eyes pop out in astonishment. These are Qigar diamond chain cigars, he exclaims. Each cigarette adorned with a diamond chain represents a luxury indulgence only the most extravagant individuals of Harlem could relish, costing approximately 600,000. Astonishingly, such opulence can also be observed in the Dragon Country. Lu Qinghao, an avid traveler, had previously encountered these extravagant items during his visits to some affluent small nations. Despite possessing considerable assets, primarily in the form of vehicles and real estate, his actual cash flow remained limited. The thought of smoking a diamond chain cigarette, let alone gifting one, was far beyond his consideration. He had not yet ascended to such heights. Yet here was this enigmatic woman, presenting such an exorbitant gift with ease. How extraordinary must she be? Even more unsettling was the sight of this woman, so submissively deferential to the man named Jiang Yuan, appearing as though she were dutifully at his service. What, then, could be the significance of Jiang Yuan's identity? In a moment of urgency, Lu Qinghao swiftly pulled Zhao Tianming aside, whispering in a hushed tone, Who are they, and where exactly are we? That young lady is likely the secretary of Yuanmei Company. And Jiang Yuan, Zhao Tianming began to explain, I'm not entirely sure, but I will inquire further later. Later? Lu Qinghao's heart raced at Zhao Tianming's response, nearly causing him to lose composure. At this very moment, he yearned to uncover everything about Jiang Yuan. The rustic individual he had just dismissed could potentially be a concealed powerhouse. He realized he had misjudged the situation, akin to kicking a wooden plank only to strike iron. Wait, did you just mention Yuanmei Company? Lu Qinghao's anxiety surged as he processed this information, his expression shifting dramatically. As an investor, he could not possibly be unfamiliar with this renowned, publicly traded company. Over the past 5 years, while other companies experienced fluctuations in their stock prices, Yuanmei Games consistently soared, rarely dipping. It was an exceptionally strong performer, bolstered by the capital market's unwavering confidence in its historical achievements. Comparatively, other companies in the same sector could hardly compete. Lu Qinghao began to feel increasingly apprehensive. If it had merely been Manager Wang, perhaps he could have maintained his composure, allowing Zhao Tianming to mediate and let the matter pass amicably. However, the involvement of a colossal entity like Yuan Mei Company was an entirely different matter. This was not a force he could afford to provoke. The decision-maker of such a company could easily render him utterly destitute with just a word. The more he contemplated, the more fear gripped him. No matter how profound his understanding of stocks, he remained but one individual, fighting a lone battle. Should he antagonize the wrong forces, his downfall would be inevitable. After much deliberation, Lu Qinghao gritted his teeth and approached Jiang Yuan. Lu Qinghao opened his mouth, yet the words remained trapped within, refusing to escape. For such a proud individual, the act of offering an apology and seeking forgiveness was akin to enduring a torturous ordeal. Those who had previously lavished him with flattery began to sense an unsettling shift in the atmosphere. Wisely, they took a few steps back, creating space. Although they were unfamiliar with the portly gentleman and the elegant office lady, they could discern Lu Qinghao's palpable fear. His body trembled uncontrollably. However, Jiang Yuan paid him no heed. Following Yu Yao, another car, a lady's exclusive Rolls-Royce, arrived. From it emerged a graceful woman clad in a flowing light blue gown, exuding an air of ancient charm. Jiang Yuan, we meet again, she said, lowering her head with a gentle smile. In that fleeting moment of enchanting allure, even the elders present were momentarily captivated. Chapter 112. The wealthy heir from the southern city arrives. So, it is you, Yi Ran, Jiang Yuan chuckled lightly. I did not expect you to be here as well. Yi Ran donned a delicate light blue gown, which not only accentuated her alluring figure, but also highlighted her inherently antique charm, imbuing her presence with an irresistible grace. The myriad hues surrounding her seemed to pale in comparison. Her captivating allure could rival even that of Lu Shishir. Jiang Yuan felt a flicker of surprise. He had not specifically informed Yi Ran of his plans. After all, the ancestral worship ceremony was merely a casual mention to a few subordinates. Yet, it was unexpected that not only his subordinates were considerate enough to bring lavish gifts, but Yi Ran herself had journeyed all this way. A warmth surged within Jiang Yuan as he recognized her longing after days apart. Finally reunited with the one he had longed for, a blush crept onto her cheeks. However, recalling her father's admonition, she composed herself. Upon learning that today marked a special occasion in his hometown, she presented him with a gift from the Yi family. Yi Ran produced a box specifically designed to hold precious antiques, her smile radiant as she entrusted it to Jiang Yuan. Upon opening the box, Jiang Yuan discovered a rare purple jadeite, surrounded by an array of vividly colored gemstones, exuding unparalleled opulence. Yi Ran remarked, "This is a gift from the Yi family, and this jadeite is named Chuanxing, stars." The name resonated with Jiang Yuan, who nodded in acknowledgement. The way the gemstones encircled the jadeite indeed resembled stars in pursuit of one another, making the name Chuanxing most fitting. Although Yi Ran did not disclose the value of this antique, a mere glance convinced Jiang Yuan of its immense worth. One could only imagine that the Yi family would not be stingy in their generosity. With a smile, Jiang Yuan graciously accepted the gift. Meanwhile, Lu Qinghao stood in utter disbelief. Was this the jadeite Chuanxing that appeared at the auction in Xiamen 3 years ago? Lu Qinghao struggled to comprehend. The final price back then had reached a staggering 600 million. To think it had now been presented as a mere token of appreciation. His worldview felt irrevocably altered. Unbelievable. To be able to give away a gift worth 600 million, one must possess extraordinary wealth. Lu Qinghao, who had enjoyed a life of luxury for years, had assets barely exceeding 1 billion. Yet this unfamiliar woman had effortlessly gifted something equivalent to more than half his fortune. It was simply astonishing. Amidst the crowd, whispers circulated. That girl in the light blue dress is stunning. She bears a resemblance to a beauty from a band. That person seems to be the daughter of an antique family. The Yi family, the one from the antique street in the southern city? Goodness, that family is among the elite of the southern city. Jiang Yuan is surprisingly connected to such a prestigious family. Could it be that his relationship with the young lady of the Yi family is extraordinary? I envy him immensely. Overwhelmed by admiration. It seems that being handsome indeed allows one to indulge in desires freely. Truly, Jiang Yuan effortlessly accomplishes feats beyond our reach. It is nothing short of remarkable. Upon overhearing the remarks of those around him, Lu Qinghao felt his legs weaken, nearly collapsing to the ground. His heart raced tumultuously, akin to 1,000 wild stallions galloping within. The Yi family of Antique Street is a super elite family, and the stunning beauty clad in a blue gown is none other than their daughter. Observing her conversation with Jiang Yuan, one could discern the youthful shyness and charm radiating from her. It was evident to anyone with the slightest discernment that she harbored feelings for Jiang Yuan. Yet, the individual he had offended was seemingly the prospective son-in-law of this illustrious family. He felt as though he were courting disaster. Had he known, he would never have been so arrogant. Regret consumed Lu Qinghao. He wished for nothing more than a pill of regret to swallow in hopes of remedying his folly. Was he not now awaiting his own demise? Should he not humbly kneel and apologize, seeking leniency? Lu Qinghao hesitated no longer, feeling remorse for not having been more straightforward earlier. Had he simply offered a